Okay, so we're going to go ahead and call this budget workshop meeting to order here. And we really don't have the pledge or anything situated here, so we're just going to get right into it. So the time for the clerk is 10:12 a.m. And I would ask at this time for any public comment. So Tyner, do we see any? There's nobody online that I see with hands up.
I just checked and nobody signed up.
Okay,
Judge.
so having no public comment in the room, we'll move right to budget workshop. And the very first, we have a full day. The first one is our auditor, so we welcome their presentation. Dale, take it away.
Well, thank you, Your Honor. First, I'd like to clarify a few things. We provide you a very, very thick binder. It should have every department's request. Everybody, and it's got, within this request, you see different pie charts and bar charts showing here their activity, their budget items. If they have a personnel request, that should be the last page of their request, just to make sure you have it. Now, there'll be some questions on the way this works, because some of the items, when we put in some requests, it affects base, which means it's the 2021 budget that you're seeing. So some might see an increase or decrease there, but that's not really true because of the way our software works. So I just wanted to let you know there might be a few instances for that. Michael and I know that there's going to be several departments requesting some vehicle increases. I know he's working with myself on the vehicle fleet lease, and he'll be bringing that to court very soon for the next phase 2. And most of these cars will already be included in there. If not, if it's an emergency situation, we can definitely address that. So if you're ready, I'm ready to start on my presentation.
I am. Commissioners, everybody ready? Yes. Go ahead.
My request is very, very small at the beginning. I'm going to be talking about some other items here that I haven't put in here yet, but I may have to put this on here based on our cost. Both of my requests is on software services and maintenance. As is most of your software contracts, there's a continuity of increasing it by a certain percentage every year. This year it ranges from anywhere from 3% to 7%. And these are what the cost is per each one of our softwares we're using. So there is a net increase of $28,878 for that particular cost. At the moment, I'm not requesting any other cost. I looked through the rest of my budget. I didn't see where there was anywhere I could possibly cut on some. Most of my office supplies are pretty close where they should be, and most of my other costs are where they are. Now, why I'm saying this is, as I've mentioned to you before, our current software we're using, which is Central Square, is getting to the point where we're going to have some critical issues to make. We have the server that our software company is currently using has an end of life for the 2012 server. The end of life is in 2023. I believe it's in January. Another issue is our software that we have that we run reports from and generate reports and modify reports works on Internet Explorer. And Microsoft has decided to eliminate Internet Explorer and go to Microsoft Edge. Unfortunately, our software company is not changing from Internet Explorer. And right now we've tried every avenue. We've tried to do this to change a different type of Explorer, and it wouldn't help. So what does that mean? That means that at a certain point in time, once the Internet Explorer is basically end of life, which means we cannot change any of our reports. That's bad for us because we have to change our reports every year for different reasons for our financial reporting side and items. Now, there is a possibility of maintaining with the software in, but however, we've talked to many of our other people that use the software, and the software that they're currently proposing to change to adds so many different steps and processes that it would be very, very, very inefficient. We've been told on several of the clients that we talked to, it says be prepared to add 5 to 7 people in payroll, 4 to 5 people in accounts payable to be able to manage the steps that we're adding to it. That's the different costs, and also if I do that, I have no space in my office to handle that much additional employees. So we'd have to have additional office space somewhere to maintain this. We've gone through several requests, and we talked to several companies. I've got a sheet showing you. You would think the software company for a government would be easy to find. It's not. Because of our size and our capacity, once we get to our size or larger, the number of availability of softwares to manage ours is very few and far between. We've gone through all the ones we went through. Those are being Workday, OpenGov, Unit 4, and Microsoft. And several of those require the same process we're doing now, where they lump five or six programs together and try to manage it, which is difficult as well. The Workday seems to be the most complex and most Workday gets everything we currently have, and some of the software, as I mentioned, OpenGov, it does have a software, but they do not have central supply, which we'd have to help them design and build that. They do not have P-cards, which we'd have to help them design and build that, and we prefer not to be that level of items. Yes, Workday is a little more expensive, and the requirements to migrate the software from ours to theirs is about 3.5 to 3.6 million. And if you add the first year services, that gets to 4.1. Now, that's the question that we have. We know 2023 is when all this end of life has. Normally, the process of moving a software takes anywhere from 12 to 18 months or maybe longer. So this is something we may need to address now. I know we're looking at trying to find funding, and we tried to bring the money from COs, and that was not allowed at this point in time, and we're looking at grants, and we're also looking at the funding we just received from the federal government that does allow some infrastructure and some bottoms for your Wi-Fi and other stuff, and we're trying to find money there. I know the judge has promised to me about $500,000 from her 2021 CO funds to cover this, but again, that's short. If we don't find any funds, then I would need to try to find funds going through the general fund, and that's $3.5 million I'd have to increase that we'd have to do for this. So I haven't put that in there now, but that's something I need to address and talk to you about. Changing the software is probably a need. Our current software we're on, we've been on it for 39 years, and this was sold about 10 years ago to a financing company.
Wow.
And once the financing company bought it, they basically fired everybody we dealt with. So everybody that knew what this software did is gone. So we need to try to find a place this is time for us to change. I know it's expensive, but we need to try to find the funds. Right now, I'm not addressing that in my budget request at the time, but I may need to if it's an issue. And as I said, this thing anywhere from 12 to 18 months to do this type of exchange. I got several of my staff here to help me address this if you have any questions. We talked to Lance before he was here, and we talked to Daryl when he came in about what's going on. This is a specialized software type of system that deals more with data processing than the normal IT. That's why they call it an ERP system and not a normal IT system. So there are some issues that we need to try to bring into. So that's what I want to try to bring you to. Right now, I'm only requesting $28,878 for just the increase of my software at the current use. But if we don't do something this year, next year I'll have to probably bring in at least a $4 million increase.
Commissioner, I thought maybe you were about to ask a question.
Yes, ma'am. Can I ask if that's okay?
Yes.
Thank you. So Dale, a couple of things, and I was glipping in and out a little bit on the first part. So my first area is, I want to go back to your software question, but the first area was on, I think you were talking about the additional cost for handling the relief money. Is that what that was for? Those extra people and office space and so forth?
If I have to maintain, if I have to go with the software we're currently using now, and there is a opportunity.
No, I'm sorry.
That require additional staff and additional space. So if we stay with the current software, I would have to add staff and space.
Okay, so I guess my question then, maybe it's related, on the software, is there the opportunity with some of the COVID relief money to use some of the projects that we've allocated in our COs? Would some of those projects be able to be moved off into the COVID relief category? And would there be the possibility then that the software that you're talking about then could be moved over to the COs that we just allocated? So that's kind of a long-term question. Maybe you don't have all those answers today. I wouldn't expect you to, but maybe we could look at that. I know we're going to have a presentation later on how we're going to be able, or what the rules are that we can how we can spend the money that we received, and then the court's going to kind of prioritize that. But I don't know if you've looked into that or if that's even something that we could even look at.
Yes, sir, Commissioner, that's what we've been trying to research. We've been looking into the possibility of moving some of the current, the 2021 COs that we just issued, maybe moving some of the cost, those over to that American plan we just received of the 35 million. But there's a catch into that as well that allows us to do broadband and also other type of software companies. We're working with Hagerty and determine whether this is allowable there as well. So we're trying to find other resources before we touch the general fund. So we're definitely looking into every avenue. We've reached out to, we're going to reach out to grants to see if there is a possibility of applying for a grant for this particular function as well. We're going to try to find every bit of money we can before we touch the general fund.
Okay. And then I appreciate that. And it sounds like you're already on it, so that's great. And the second question, or the second line of question is really related to that relief money. I know that, and I know today's not the right day, probably because this is general fund budget workshop, but I assume also when we have that meeting, you're going to put together a budget that will, because we've talked about, it's going to cost money to administer that money. And you're going to put that together, I guess, in a different format at a later time for us to be able to kind of look at as well, because there's got to be additional, when you're dealing with that much money, there's got to be cost involved to handle that. So I assume that's going to come later, Dale. Is that correct
Yes,
also?
I know we're working with Hagerty. I've reached out to Collier Johnson & Woods, at a CPA firm, to try to do our management side of ours as well, to try to do some administrative function of that to make sure we have some stuff. And I'll be working with the judge and everyone on the side of it to come with a budget to try to determine what the funds will be used for. So we'll definitely bring something to you very soon.
Okay, thank you. And I don't mean to get off track. I
No,
appreciate the time. Thank
it's
you.
actually very on track, I think, because, this is a guess, okay? So don't hold us to it, but the guess is that 7% is probably a very likely admin acceptable rate for these ARPA funds, okay? But we have not determined that yet from, the guidance is weird. It says interim final guidelines. Is that not an oxymoron? Interim, final. Is it interim or is it final? So these guidelines are still pliable. So we can still hopefully ask for Treasury to include software and IT. And that way, to me, it's right on track that if we can get either ARPA to cover the 3.5 or ARPA to cover something that we covered in the 50, we would do the switch. Does that make sense, Commissioner?
Yes, ma'am. Thank you.
Yeah. Okay, Dale, thank you so much. Does anyone have any questions of Dale with regards to the software, or he's got staff here from, to provide resource information?
Yeah, because we've been working with our I've got Harry and Julian from my staff here. They've been dealing with some of the other entities that use our current software, and that's been required to change to the new version of what they have. And they're pretty much telling us if to don't find something, move around, because as I said, once they did this, their payroll staff had to add many employees. We've got a test version of the software on our system, and our payroll staff went through this, and where it normally took them 3 steps, now it takes them 25. And we have to pay 1,255 employees twice a month, plus elected officials. So a new software is more expensive. It is the one we've been looking at, which is Workday, is major efficiency. It's a high step where we tested some of their demos, and we can do some of our payroll steps, which would take 15 steps, and now take 4.
Yeah. Well,
And with being on the software for so long, it's time to change.
sure. It's the light bulb effect, right? The light bulb just went out. It's time to change light bulbs.
It has worked, but it's time to change.
Right. Okay, I'm making notes, and I bet everybody else is too. So if I wanted to make notes, could I say that 3.5 million is the deficit? Or okay. Okay,
Well,
great.
yeah, I think you had said the half a million that you had
Yes.
already said, if we take that away, then
Yes, and I had also said, but I recognize that it would be money in the new fiscal cycle, but we did not have to utilize the $500,000 for the breakwater grant, and I didn't know if that could be appropriated, but I can see that that's a new fiscal year coming up anyway, so I guess that wouldn't count.
And working with them on the 2021 series, this software qualifies for the IT that's
Yeah.
already put in there. So it's definitely qualifiable if we're able to find some other sources of funds to pay for some of those
Right.
that are there. We can definitely then up to the court to reallocate those funds, and
Yeah.
that's where we'd like to see it done.
I totally agree. Okay, thank you. Guys, any questions for Dale before we move on? I'm not trying to rush him or you, but you did a very efficient job. We started late and you're going to keep us on time. Okay, hearing none, you're always welcome since you're sitting in the office here. You can add more if you'd like later. But in that case,
And something I
Maria?
want to make
Yes,
sure we
go ahead.
notify the departments, this is not set in stone numbers. These definitely, because Daryl asked a question of, because he didn't really participate in the development of the IT, but he will be presenting it later. All these numbers can change, and will probably change before we get to the final proposal that we submit in August and September before we propose it. So these numbers can change and most likely will.
Gotcha. Thank you. Grants management, Maria, welcome.
Good morning.
You've been just a little busy.
Just a little busy, so I'm not going to try to bore you with numbers. I know I included some in my budget proposal, but I know you've seen my face and heard my voice probably more in the past year than you probably wanted to. But the budget proposal that we have before you is pretty simple and clear cut. I am asking for, actually this is kind of the same request that I've had for the past 2 years. If you recall, I know Commissioner Hernandez wasn't here, 2 fiscal years ago, I had requested the deletion of a position, which was of clerical type in lieu of purchasing a grant management software. So within the past 2 fiscal years, the Grants Administration Department has actually saved the county $93,000. So this fiscal year, I am asking for several things, just kind of some title changes, mine from Grants Administrator to Director of Grants Administration, a title change for the Grants Writer Coordinator position to Deputy Director, since we are now a 2-person office. I'm also asking for a pay group increase for the newly titled Deputy Director position from a pay group 27 to a pay group 31. That will be a budget increase of only $13,483.71. And then with that, I am hoping to make the Deputy Director position from an hourly position to a salaried position. Again, I don't want to bore you with numbers. The numbers that I had included with the budget proposal were as of April 22nd. Since that time, we have received another 2, officially received another 2 grant awards for an additional $1.5 million. So we will be about 38 open contracts with a total dollar value of about $15 million. That's not including the coronavirus relief fund that we managed for $4.6 million. It's not also including the $2.2 million FEMA public assistance vaccination project that Hagerty is assisting us with. So we've also increased, despite COVID, despite winter storm, despite all the disasters that have hit us and that we've had to manage over the past year, we've actually increased the number of grant applications submitted from the previous fiscal year. Last fiscal year, from October to September, we submitted 31 grant applications. To date, we are at 36. So again, we're making do with our 2-person office. I did struggle with the decision to possibly add somebody back to my office, being that we are so busy and being that we're managing so many projects. But that being said, I did learn over this past year that working with companies such as Tidal Basin, with CDBG MIT, even though we were unsuccessful in this round, we're already gearing up for round 2. Working with Hagerty, I've learned the importance of having kind of that expert on your side that's also kind of a third party to help, kind of, with the collaborations and managing these grant projects. So with that, going to see, and actually there's one on the Wednesday agenda, you're going to see more RFPs for grant administration services. And the reason for this is because these grant administrators and project managers can actually write their costs into the grant themselves without any cost coming from the county. So on Wednesday, again, you'll see an RFP for grant administration, grant application preparation services for FEMA competitive grants. I'm also going to be looking at some of the other programs, the bigger programs that are expected for the county to be eligible for, so we can go out for grant administration services, third party for those. And that way our office just kind of has that oversight, again, without any cost to the county. I won't bring up ARPA only because I know, the judge, we're still just trying to figure out kind of, what the administrative costs allowed under ARPA will be, but obviously we will need, some assistance in that area. We are actually, at Haggerty's recommendation, working on an RFP. So I'm kind of tweaking the scope of work right now, and then I'll send it over to Michael to, again, to have some administrative support for all the $70 million in ARPA funds. Because eventually, once the strategic, framework is made for those funds, there's actually going to be, kind of like a project to manage. So obviously we're going to need, just as Dale mentioned, we're going to need some assistance with that. So with that, I'll open it up to any questions that you might have.
So if I look at your proposed, it's just very slight change.
Yes. Again, I'm asking for job title changes, a salary increase from a pay group 27 to a 31 for the grants writer position, which I would hope to reclassify as a deputy director position. Again, we're a two-person office now that we kind of don't have that hierarchy that we had before where we had, grants administrator, grants writer, and a grants assistant. Now that we have that clerical position kind of being handled through a software system, it's just kind of, we're kind of more apples to apples, and especially since COVID happened, we used to have kind of this divide and conquer approach in our office, and since, COVID and winter storm, my focus became more kind of disaster management, and Natalie kind of handled everything else. So I kind of feel that, being that we're a two-person office, it's a little bit more equitable in our job duties and our positions.
And Maria, I guess what I'm hearing is that having these subject matter experts is like having the equivalent of having an army, if you will.
Yes.
And yet they're not FTEs, so we don't have that burden, but you have the subject matter experts.
Yeah, so
on
I
our side.
understand that, we have good years and we have bad when it comes to grants, and grants are very cyclical. So, there's no determining, I'd hate to add a full-time position if the grant opportunities are not there. Right now, yes, there's tons of funding out and available. But again, 2 years ago when I had done that proposal to delete that clerical position, those dollars just weren't there. So
Right.
again, it's cyclical. So that's why I really want to, I've learned again the importance of having these experts, Tidal Basin and Haggerty. I mean, which, I've really enjoyed working with them, and to have that kind of, again, kind of come out of the grants budget rather than adding to the counties.
Okay. And this is just a little exercise that I think would be helpful for the court, is that when you do that change in salary from 27 to 31, I guess, Julie, you're watching all of these, because then we're gonna ask you, how does that help us in achieving our goals that Korn Ferry set for us? So maybe you could just create a, as every department says, I want to do this change, maybe you could showcase to us, does that help us get to our, what I would call average median salary? Does that make sense? Yes. Yeah, okay. All right, Maria, excuse me, if you'll just hold, are there questions for Maria, commissioners at this time?
Judge, question, comment?
Yes, go ahead.
Sorry, so this would be another one, I would think, and I'm kind of making a list as I go, and I'm hoping that maybe Tyner is too, or someone there can help me with notes, but this would be another one I would think that might be a place to put a temporary COVID funded, person to help offset some of the work in Maria's office, because certainly a lot of what she does, it has or if not a person, then at least we should be reimbursing ourselves for this in some way, shape, or form. And again, I don't know how all this is going to work, not saying no to her direct request. I'm just kind of adding to as I'm going through all this, but this might be another place to look at to be creative in a legitimate, legal way that we might be able to find a way to help out here as well. Because again, this, I would assume our grants department is going to be heavily involved in, the money that we got from the federal government, because it falls under a quasi grant type situation. So I would think some of the administrative costs that the judge was mentioning earlier could be potentially allocated to the grants office in some way, shape, or form. So I'm kind of going through here and I promise I won't do this all day, but well, I won't promise, but I'll try not to do this all day. But how we, kind of looking at ways to supplement's not the right word, but add to our budget without adding to our budget, if you will, to use these funds in an appropriate way. I know we have 3 years to spend them. And that doesn't take care of the long-term needs that she's talking about, but it could certainly with the short-term needs in regards to maybe another person or something like that. So more of a comment than a question. Just thought I'd throw that out there as well. Thank you.
Thank you. Anybody else?
One question, Maria, I didn't see anything on, now, we currently use a software for our grants, is that correct?
Yes, it is going to be paid through special revenue that's going to be coming in from our CDBG disaster recovery grant.
So it'd be paid through a grant, not special revenue?
Yes.
Okay.
Well, special revenue that's gotten through the grant. So so in our CDBG DR grant, we have grant administration services that will go to special revenue that we claimed like our in-kind time.
Because they tried to
Does
use
that make
this
sense?
last year and there was not enough money in that fund to
We
pay
didn't have
for it.
the
That's
grant
why
last
you had
year.
$20,000 in your expense this year.
Yeah, we didn't have that grant last year.
Okay.
So you have how much this year? How much do you have this year?
In
And-
special
and-
revenue?
Oh, I know you're talking about deputy director position, which will be one new position, right?
It's not a new position.
But-
It's the current position, just
Okay,
reclassified
but are you
the
gonna
title.
have 3 instead of 2 in
No.
your department? Or you still
No,
gonna wind
it'll
up with-
be, so, not talking
be
titles, so
2?
it'll be Natalie's position, just reclassified. It's still the same 2 positions, just different, job titles, to be
So-
more in line with kind of what we do.
So you don't need another position in your department?
No. That's why I was mentioning you're gonna see a lot of more, RFPs, for grant administration services.
But going back to Dale's question, I think we're just clarifying that the software cost, which is approximately $20,000, that's going to be covered this year from a grant that we did not have last year.
Yes.
So
yes.
maybe.
The grant was just getting off the ground,
Got it.
last year. I think
Okay.
it was like March of 2020,
All right.
and we didn't have like enough grant administration services to like
Got it.
claim and recoup.
Got it. Okay. Oh, my goodness.
Here it is.
So this is when you say if it were Culebra, it would have bit you? We were looking for the phone. It's sitting right here. Okay.
That means you're out of time too.
That's fine.
Actually, Maria, you're catching us up on time. You did great. Just stick around that, not right now, I'm just saying, but, we might call you back 'cause sometimes, I noticed emergency management isn't today, but when we get Melissa in here, I think some of the questions that were just raised might be also answered by a disaster recovery specialist when we get to EM, right? Okay.
Hey, one more,
Thank
Maria, real quick. Are you also raising your salary?
No, I'm not asking for a salary increase.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much. So we're going to move on because you never know who needs more time, right, and who needs less. So we're going to move on this morning, and the next one is court administration. So we have all 3, well, not all, but 3 out of 4 folks from court administration. 4, 5, hello, sorry, Connie. Everybody's here, 4 out of 5. Connie, you're so special. Think of you in your own place. Yeah, we almost have the whole team here. Tyner, would you like to start?
And so, as you know, Teresa is the one in our department that's good with the numbers. We're not asking for much. I will say, we do have goals. In the coming year, we still want to get we're working on our boards software. We continue to train on that. That's already been accounted for and budgeted for. We crunched the numbers, and the auditor did too. We're asking for some more overtime, some more office expense, but we're pushing down some professional services and other services and charges, $500, cutting travel expense, $1,500. We calculate the net budget increase in our office at $500. In addition to that, there is a request for a public information officer in our office. We've talked about this a number of times in court. In fact, the judge Friday contacted us and asked Human Resources to actually do an agenda item for public information officer. Teresa, will you pass this out? And so Julie submitted the item at your upcoming court for consideration.
Thanks, Teresa.
It's, the fiscal annual impact would be $65,360.66. If the court does in fact approve our public information officer at court on Wednesday, the remainder for the fiscal year would be $22,624.84. One thing that's looming in our department, which is another goal, is as ADA coordinator, I have a big annual report to the DOJ due at the end of July. We've been working with, actually, bond counsel has a technician in their office that has a lot of experience with the Department of Justice. We've had a couple of meetings and conversations with them. In addition, as you know, the court approved countywide ADA, not only in the 2020, but also in the 2021, in the neighborhood of about $6.5 million. LAN is helping us organize that, and it's our plan to show the DOJ that we have a plan for countywide ADA compliance with a timeline. And so that's our big goal that will get submitted to the DOJ before the end of July. I, in fact, plan to present my submission to the DOJ at either the July 7th meeting or July 23rd meeting of Commissioners Court. And so what that's going to be is a package that shows the DOJ that we're going to make it to the finish line in with a timeline. So, Judge, you may want to comment. I think Dale actually had our department increase down to $355. Teresa got it to around $500 increase. So the only thing significant, we're not requesting any salary increases or any title changes or anything like that. We're just trying to do the court's wishes in getting a public information officer on board.
Y'all are just too good. I mean, the truth is that the burdens have just grown so much, and it's so appreciated how humble you are with regards to this budget and how hard you worked on it. I hope that the court sees fit through other means to reward you in a different way. But I can accept this and ask if there are any questions at this time.
I'll tell you what, I think we need you guys more than a PIO. That's how I feel. We need you guys to do the work you're doing and continue doing the work that you're doing. And if you gotta do overtime, you gotta do overtime. But I think we need you guys a lot more than we did a PIO.
Yeah, it's kind of, well, Commissioner, you know, the agenda sizes have increased. I almost want to say it's exponential, but, you know, let's face it, back in the Judge Neal days, there was not a lot of new stuff, but, with this new money and 4 disasters going on, the agenda items, in my estimation, have nearly doubled. And the fact of the matter is, documents come in late, and Tara does a great job, but a lot of that happens, near the deadline. And that's why we are asking for the overtime for her, because we just don't know, when that's going to be needed. It's, stuff comes in last minute, and we just got to
So
go
we
and get
need
things
another-
ready.
We need another tower then.
Well,
That would help. That's what you're saying?
I agree with you.
Okay.
I have not completely developed that. I don't know where a new employee would be, but it's, something for us to definitely talk about. This is the, only the first meeting for budget. And, once we get through this week, things will slow down a little bit budget-wise until we get our numbers in July, until the tax rolls are certified, and that way, we'll know what kind of budget that we're dealing with. So that's going to evolve. And so, we'll keep the court informed along the way as to what's going on. And the judge may want to expand on the public information officer.
Okay, first, are there any other questions for our court administration? Okay, it was, yes.
Just real quick, if I can too.
Yes.
I think, again, I'm gonna throw the same theme out there. I think with everything that they're doing, I think we have to look at some subsidy money from COVID here too, because this has got to be part of the admin. I do think it's not appropriate today, but it's some point to visit about why the stuff is coming in last minute. We've always had, the policy in the past that it had to be there on Tuesday and, before. And so if something's going wrong, Tyner, then you need to put that on the agenda before we just start approving overtime. I don't want anybody that's not, and the judge has said this many times, I've said it many times, everybody, if someone is due overtime, then we have to legally pay them overtime. If they're an exempt employee, then that's a whole nother issue. I don't want Tara having to work and not get paid overtime if she's a non-exempt employee. But there's got to be a better way to do some agenda management maybe that we can help you with. So I think before we, your budget request is not outlandish at all, but I'm more concerned about the statement you just made that things are coming in after when the agenda is supposed to be. So let's put that on the agenda and talk about it. I think, did I hear you? And my other question is did I hear you say that the PIO, and I'm sorry, I haven't gotten, I just was looking through budget this weekend, and so I haven't gotten to the agenda. Is that on for Wednesday as a discussion item, as a posted item? I apologize.
Yes.
Okay, so I guess we'll have an opportunity there then to discuss job description and all
Yes.
of those things, because again, I think everybody, I support the concept of a PIO for the whole court to be able to have access to. So we can do that on Wednesday. So I'll hold on that then, Judge.
Thank you, but we will get to you. Could someone make sure that what Teresa just passed out gets to Paul so he can scan to the commissioner? Yes? Okay. Commissioner, just know that we were just handed the description, and so you'll get that on your email shortly. Thank you.
Did pass that
Yeah,
out there.
all I really want to say is that was, we heard and listened to what the court reacted to with 4 disasters and with technology completely changed. It's not new to this court, it's new to all 254 counties in Texas. Technology and the way people communicate is radically different, extremely different than it was 4 years ago. And because of that, we have to learn how to communicate with our citizens differently. And that means having a communicator full-time. And that's something that we did not have and we've had to pay for through COVID-19. Thank God we had the money through reimbursements to get paid back. We weren't out any money, but it was the will of the court at that time to explore this. And that's why Julie worked with experts to get this position salaried so that you could see it, and also described so you could see it, and allow for discussion.
And
that's
by the
all-
way, it is attached to the agenda item.
Right,
So commissioners, you can go click on it and take a look at the job description.
Right.
As well.
right. So we'll save that for more, but it's ripe now to discuss it for budget. And you wouldn't want to appropriate something and then take 3 months to go find somebody, right? So that's why there was a thought process to bring it to you early rather than later. How about any other questions for Tyner or the rest of the group?
Excuse me, Tyner. How do we communicate right now with the media?
Robert Durand is handling that, and I might add, he's doing it for free right now, I believe. But, Robert Durand actually got us on YouTube, got us on Facebook,
Gov.delivery?
gov.delivery. The news releases are going out through him. He's a communication specialist. And so he's actually crisis communication specialist, so he has a lot of knowledge in this. So it's being done by him.
How did we communicate before him?
We didn't.
We didn't?
We didn't.
We didn't.
We didn't.
I would always see the county judge, talking to the media about disasters.
Right. We didn't have a Facebook. We didn't have a Twitter. We didn't have gov.delivery. We didn't have YouTube. We didn't have Swagit. We didn't have all of these platforms. We did it the old-fashioned way, where we did press briefings, and we still do press briefings. But in order to get messaging out, we've used all the social platforms that are modern today that really didn't exist in our repertoire before.
But couldn't our IT department take charge of that?
Okay, so that was not within the scope of the IT department at all. To do, social media is not necessarily IT, it's more communications.
Okay, thank you.
We also developed our website in a completely different way, and Connie Morgan, just so you know, we made that change a year ago. We brought Connie over to court administration, and we made our website managed by us. So in the past, our website, if you wanted to change something on the homepage, you'd have to basically call Granicus. So now we have a lot more control over our websites. But overnight, because we had to communicate with people due to the global pandemic, we changed our way of doing business. Now, we did have emergency management platforms, but let's face it, a lot of people aren't. In order to receive it, you have to like it. You have to be a part of it. So it's like Reverse Alert. It's an awesome program, but there's only so many people that are on Reverse Alert. So even though we had a platform to deal with very specific things, we had no platforms to deal with the whole community at large. We've changed our model of doing business, and to give you a sense of relativity, the city has 41 public information officers. We had a designated EOC person, which is Maggie Turner in my office, when we're actually at a readiness that causes us to be on the 5th floor. She would handle the media and did so during times of crisis. So when we're inside emergency management on the 5th floor for an extreme weather event, she would kick in. But this is something that would go every single day. We would be communicating every single day. And that's how other urban counties operate.
I understand, but if the city's already doing it, and I'm sure everybody sees also what's going on with the city, wouldn't that be like duplicating services, to the taxpayers?
Right, so it would not, because the city is only one component of our county. As you well know, take the floods, for instance. The floods are an excellent example of the city's not going to be broadcasting what's happening in Banquete, Agua Dulce, Bishop, Driscoll, Petronila. City of Corpus Christi does not do that for us. They handle their own city, and they take their own directives. So we would not want to abdicate our role as emergency management for our county to one city who doesn't cover all the other.
Well,
It would not be duplicative.
well, about the floods, I mean, I was well informed by just the media itself. I mean, everybody knew it's happening, you know, and people like in the drainage department, they were putting it out on Facebook. So I'm just saying, we've got other means of getting the word out to the public, and the public knows who to go to. You either stay tuned to your TV set, you know, and they do a great job of letting us know. So I'm, you know, we'll just discuss it Wednesday if it's gonna be on the agenda.
Okay, great. Are there any other more questions or comments? Okay, great. Well, then we'll move on, Tyner, to the next one. We're very, very timely. And, well, Timothy is here for risk management. And so if everybody will turn to risk management in your notebook. Timothy, welcome. Go ahead.
Good morning, Judge,
Good morning.
Commissioners. I'll make this the shortest one.
I like that.
As you'll see on here, the only thing that I have to take off is the insurance expenses for the 21-22 proposed is the $13,750. We had that for the Edwards Risk Management for this year for the evaluation of the properties. However, we will not need that for next year. Therefore, our budget will be $213,291. We are not requesting any additional pay raises, budgeting, anything of that nature. We're going with what we got. We're completely happy. We'll do our job with what we're dealing with. So, that's all I have, Judge. I told you I'd be real short and sweet.
You did good. Let's ask for questions at this point. I'll open the floor to questions.
Great, because there's other departments that need people a lot more than I do. So I'm just, all right.
So really, just looks like everything stays the same. I will say that, I don't know, and I don't know where it came from, but we did our safety luncheons pre-COVID, Dale.
That's in there, Judge.
It
That-
is, how do I find that here?
Well, that's gonna be in our professional services expenses, it's in that
Okay.
part of that 31.
All
It's
right.
involved in there because
So I'm
that
gonna
goes
write
with
that
our
down.
AED maintenance, and there's 10K in there for those lunches throughout the years, even
Right.
though we didn't have an opportunity to use it, we did use some of that for safety purposes this year by buying, AEDs for other departments that didn't have one in there, so we did use those, started using those
Right.
funds and just, being more productive with it.
Great, great,
So-
great. Yeah, I think we could do a real, a good amount of work on our just safety record. And I think sometimes that you're gonna have to go out there and talk to each of these departments and create opportunities, to incentivize just a better safety record, particularly in our auto. Really concerned about that, but that's sort of different. I just wanna make sure you have the right resources to do that.
Yes,
You feel
ma'am.
like you do?
Yes, ma'am, 'cause I can make it work,
Good.
I was with the
As long
world's
as you
finest,
feel
but we were
that.
the world's cheapest, so. we
You're
can get-
good. Thank you, Tim.
Yes,
Thank you
ma'am.
so much. Any other questions for Timothy?
Thank you, Timothy.
Okay, thank you so much. We're gonna move on to the county attorney. Give me just a second to turn the page. Okay, wonderful.
Thank you.
Thank you. This will be our last presentation, and then we will take a lunch break. And I will honor the schedule, so we'll be back at 1 o'clock after the presentation that county attorney makes, okay? So we'll have her conclude, but since we're ahead of schedule, I just wanted you guys to know what the plan was.
Good morning.
Welcome.
Oh, sorry.
I just say welcome, good morning.
Thank you, thank you. Good morning, Commissioners, County Judge. I'm very excited to be here with you. And I think you've said this already today, but it's time to recognize the external changes that the county attorney's office is experiencing in the past 10 years. The population has grown. Litigation has grown in its complexity and in its volume. Now, this is kind of a big deal, but it is an opportunity for growth and progress. Now, we've already begun that process. We've already had new training, we've already implemented new processes for tracking, but that's gonna take money. And we have already begun to adapt to these changes, but we've got a lot of adapting to do. And so what we wanna do is implement the vision that this court has set forth. Now, here's what we're asking for on the short list. We're asking for a new CPS attorney. Now, Judge McCoy has sent over a letter outlining why, from his perspective, he would like for us to have that. And that's gonna be delivered up to you during the day. Also, we're asking for a new administrative secretary, and that's gonna help for the digitizing and the modernization of the office and its processes. We're asking for a new Attorney 3 position, which we'll expand on later. We're asking for 2 reclassifications. We're asking for a change to the Attorney 3 to create a more of a training attorney for our younger attorneys and older attorneys. And then also we're asking for a change to the Chief of Administration to become more like the first assistant, for instance, that you have in the DA's office. And so I believe Cisco is going to explain kind of the numbers of that, and we'll bounce back and forth.
Sounds good.
Good morning, Commissioners. We have handed out a booklet that we've created, and we have 18 pages there. Most of these you already have seen. They're part of OpenGov already. The only new documents that we've added here are pages 1, 2, and 3 of 18. Now, number-wise, regarding the budget, we're requesting a $15,000 increase. That's just regarding the budget. That does not include the salaries of the reclassifications. That information is found in our pamphlet on page 12 of 18, and it spells out how the reclassifications would work and what the amounts would be with the benefits. Now, before we go over all of the other numbers or the actual positions, I did want to just give you a glance at what the office does. Most of you are very, very familiar with a lot of what we do because we're here in court almost weekly. And here what you see is you actually only see a part of what our office does. It isn't the full picture. Here you all are already familiar with the litigation because it comes to the court. You're also familiar with all of the transactional work, and we know this through the agenda. You can see that all of the contracts, they come, most of them they come to us, right, and we review them, especially when somebody brings them directly to us. Now, in this presentation, I have not included any of that, or I haven't included charts for that because you see all of that. So what I've done here is I've created 5 figures, just showing what it is that we do. Figure A in the pamphlet on page 1 of 18 shows what has been done just this year. So this isn't the fiscal calendar. This is the actual calendar from January through June 2021. Now, one task that we do is bail bond forfeiture. And as of now, we've done 0 of them, and that's because of COVID. So eventually, we're going to have those again, and we'll be handling those. As of now, we've had 36 involuntary mental commitments. We've had approximately 120 public information requests. Those are the ones that have come directly to us, and those, by law, we have to handle, and we have to respond within a certain amount of time. We've had over 300 now the protective orders that I've listed here, these aren't all of them that have been closed. These are the actual requests that come to the office. So every time we do get a request, we do need to respond. We have to be in communication with the victim. And finally, we have the Department of Family Protective Service cases that we have pending currently as of June, and there's over 300 of them that we have pending. Now, on figure B, what we have is the county attorney office personnel over time. And what we've done here is we've just shown, we show that since 2008, and in 2008, we only had 11 attorneys. And we see that in 2020 that there's a .75 attorney that was added. We currently don't have that attorney in our office right now, but that is a .75 allocation from Veterans Cemetery. They're currently not there, but we are asking that that position get filled. And instead, what we're asking is that that position be reclassified from an attorney two to an attorney three. And we'll go over that in more detail as to why we think that that should be an attorney three. Now, we also, you can see that since 2008, we've only had 6 paraprofessionals or 6 staff members in our office. We eventually had 7 in 2015, and that's related to a change that happened in the law where we now had to do electronic filing. But it's still been since 2015, or approximately 2015, since we've only had a 1% increase, and that's a part-time increase. Now, finally, the last 3 slides are related, or they are Figure C, Figure D, and Figure E. What we see is, in Figure C, is the number of cases that are pending per our 2 attorneys, because we only have 2 Department of Family Protective Service attorneys, and they're going to be speaking shortly. We can see that they have a lot of cases. Each of them has over 150 pending cases right now. And Figure D just shows what one possibility of how we could just redistribute the work if we had a 3rd attorney. And finally, Figure E shows that the number of cases that have been accepted pre-COVID, during COVID, and we don't have our numbers for this year. Now, that's just what the office does at a glance. What we're going to do now is we're going to go over the different attorney, or the different positions and why we're requesting those positions.
Thank you, Cisco. Now, first to talk with you about the CPS attorney need. In addition to the letter, I do think that has been distributed from Judge McCoy, is Nicole Russell. She has been with the office 3 years now, has handled over 65 trials for CPS cases, and I don't know, I know several of you are very familiar with CPS cases and how they go, but Ms. Russell is going to tell you about the need that Nueces County has right now.
Hi, good morning. My name's Nicole Russell, and I'm an assistant county attorney who represents the Department of Family and Protective Services in the most exigent and emergency removals of children in our county. I'm one of 2 assistant county attorneys who does this, and I'm here in support of adding an additional prosecutor to help prosecute these cases. We have a growing number of cases in this court, and they've become more complex over time. Many of you are familiar with the way DFPS cases progress and how they differ from a normal civil or criminal case. For those of you who don't, CPS cases, when possible, are really about reunifying the family and help to rehabilitate the family, or if that's not possible, finding a forever home for a child. And as you can imagine, that's a process. I would estimate that the average case has somewhere between 12 and 15 hearings before a child ever gets to permanency. Some of our children, it takes less than the 4 statutes that are mandatory, hearings that are mandatory under statute, but some of them we've had since 2009 and have had dozens of hearings on the cases before the state's ever able to find a forever home. During that period, we're mandated to have review hearings to make sure that the proper schooling is happening, that the child's getting the proper medical care, counseling, all of the care that the child needs under state care. And we work those cases closely. And of course, finding permanency. It's a process. And it's a process for a good reason. The decisions that we make really affect a child's whole life, their whole future. For kids in state care, it's our job to make sure that they're getting all of the services they need. We're monitoring the progress of parents to see if we could have reunification, make sure it's safe for the child, ensure that what's happening is in the child's best interest. Everyone who works in our court takes this obligation incredibly seriously, and it's something that takes time. I want to take a moment to explain how assistant county attorneys who have this job, who represent the Department of Family and Protective Services, differ from other prosecutors. we often get calls early in the morning or late at night asking what we should do about a certain situation. A child ran away. How do we comply with the judge's orders under these circumstances? Here's an emergency. Does it meet the legal standards for an emergency removal in the middle of the night? I don't know other prosecutors who have to deal with that. And it's a very serious thing that we do. Our cases are real life, and they don't stop Monday through Friday, 9 to 5, and they don't take off holidays. We can't phone this in. Our job takes real engagement, attention to detail, and collaboration with a team on each case. It's not just a file that you could put on your bookshelf and wait till the trial comes and then dust it off and go to trial and get your verdict. The end of our cases isn't a verdict at trial. It's not a termination. That's actually the middle of most of our cases. The end is when the child finds permanency, when we have an adoption, or whether we have a successful family reunification. And that process is taking longer and longer due to the pandemic, but we also have more families in that process than ever before. The trial backlog is unique with our cases. I know many of you are familiar with the trial backlog. 16 months of not being able to have jury trials is very different in our court. It not only means that we have 16 months of trials to do, but it also means an additional 6 to 8 mandatory hearings for each case added to the docket. Under the family code, we have to have cases every so often. So if a trial gets pushed off 16 months, there are a lot of new cases added to the docket. And dozens of backlog trials means hundreds of additional cases, which means longer days in court, which means more to prepare for and less time to do it, frankly. It's like commissioner's court. I know many of you sit up here for a few hours a day, but spend so many hours behind the scenes working to prepare for commissioner's court. The same is true in our court. We spend many, many hours behind the scenes preparing for trials, getting ready for court, and trying to find these resolutions. And not only do we have a backlog, but the problems created by the pandemic, the social problems with mental health care, with drug use, with homelessness, they were really bad before the pandemic, but now they're even worse. You know, according to the CDC in 2019 to 2020, we had a 30% increase in drug overdoses nationwide. And that scourge isn't, Nueces County isn't immune from it. And we see these problems in our courts. We see these problems with increases in the neglect of children. And so you may be also wondering if all of these increases are only pandemic related, which is a really good question. But unfortunately, they're not. While the pandemic has created a backlog of cases and amplifications in the social problems that we were seeing, we were already seeing a steady uptick of cases in County Court 5 in these really serious CPS cases. The majority of these cases have untreated mental health issues or drug addiction issues or both at their hearts. I would say, unscientifically, probably 90 to 90% of our cases deal with one of those issues. And so surging problems in our communities with these problems, addiction, homelessness, mental health, mirror all the surging problems in our court. And that's on top of the already increased population that we've had of 20-something% since our court was created in 1999 with only 2 prosecutors. Before the pandemic, our caseload was so full that when possible, our judge used to run 2 courtrooms simultaneously. One inside County Court 5, and Judge Huerta, the associate judge, would also run a court in the probation officer's training room because we had so many cases on our docket that we already, before the pandemic, couldn't do them in one day often. And that's a big strain logistically when you have two places to be at one time. That's another reason why an additional assistant county attorney assigned to our court would help out. And, you know, an additional county attorney, assistant county attorney, excuse me, wouldn't stop those late night calls that I was talking about or the attention to detail that each case requires, because that comes with the job. It's part of the territory. But an additional assistant county attorney can help balance the workload and allow more meaningful participation in these cases, because more participation really does
Judge,
have
could I-
better.
Could I interrupt just for a minute, Judge?
Yes.
I'm sorry, I've got to jump into a doctor's fitting me in today. I just wanted to say, she kind of had me at hello. I'm very familiar with Court 5, as everyone knows, being the presiding judge there for a while. I know I speak with Judge McCoy regularly. We all see those numbers. The numbers have dramatically increased. I can't tell you how happy I am to be a member of the Commissioners Court and no longer a judge in that court, to be honest with you, because I don't even know how Judge McCoy and Judge Huerta are handling it. So I think we have to look at something in regards to CPS attorneys. And I just wanted to say that while she was there. And again, I apologize. I'll be back on at 1, but I've got to get to a doctor's appointment now.
Understood. Pardon the interruption, but it was a good comment. So as they say, enjoy it and please continue.
Yes, thank you. And I was just wrapping up. You know, I wanted to thank you for the opportunity to address this body and this really important topic. It's necessary for a growing docket. I'm open to taking any questions if anybody has any, but I'm also open to turning it over to my colleague, Ms. Mathis, for additional comments.
I'll open the floor for comments or questions, but I'll just start by saying thank you. You know, it's a tremendous feat of work that you tackle, and we see you in the hallways, but I just don't get a chance to really acknowledge the work on behalf of the most vulnerable amongst us, our children that find themselves in an abusive situation or in an unsafe situation, whether it's temporary or unfortunately sometimes permanent. You're their defenders. And so this is one that I'm ready to hang on to every word you say. But let me open it up for questions. Any questions at this time? Commissioner Modis?
Yes, Judge, thank you.
You're welcome.
You know, from time to time or many times, especially in budget, we up here in the county or in other levels of government, we always hear the question of why. Why do we need to increase the amount of government? Why do we have to increase the size or the overall cost? And I think this is a prime example of we are trying to be as efficient as possible, but I think there's a breaking point. There's a point to where it is so much that each of you do. And so as Commissioner Chesney said, as he was once judge, as Judge Canales has said, this is not only worthwhile, it's necessary. And I know that in a few months, all these nice planned out talks work their way down to a fury of just really a few minutes and a few motions, right? Just like I can imagine what you all have to do in court when you get to the final arguments that you're making before the judge or the jury. And so I hope that we remember collectively that as we commit, and I think a majority of us already have, and I think all of us will, to the work that you all are doing, I think we need to remind ourselves that there is a necessary need for increase in staff and in the cost of doing government, because this is one of them. And so as much as we will come up here and justify one way or the other on how we vote, you know, in September, I hope we remember your talk especially. We think of the cases as, I was trying to focus on every word you were saying, but as you were talking, drifting off to think of all the countless cases as an investigator and as a caseworker and as a supervisor that I dealt with. And I think I've been in court, not on staff side at least, but in every court since Judge Lewis. And I've been there before every judge. And so I just hope that we remember this, right? Because any way we kind of try to spin it to say that we're going to keep our budget as is or not do any kind of increases, it impacts you, It impacts the children that you all serve, the families you're serving, to either reunify or to find those forever homes like you mentioned. And so I hope that we remember that. I like to try to say things out publicly to kind of remind myself, but also to put a record out there for the public to understand that if we feel strongly in this, then we need to back that up, not just with our words, but with our actions. So thank you all for being here today.
Right, government's not growing, services are. Thank you guys very much.
I
Jenny?
just want to say,
Oh, yes, sir.
I'm going to say one thing. I just want to again, thank you for the passion that you guys have on working with that population, because there are a lot of attorneys out there, but I tell you what, I don't think they know what you know. Because it's totally different area when you're dealing with juveniles. And I was sitting on the bench, I also work with the juvenile judges, try to keep those children or students or kids going to that court. Unfortunately, a lot of them made it to that court, but it's just a passion that y'all have. And I tell you what, I mean, it's something you almost can't take home with you. I know some of you do, probably some of it, and you shouldn't, but I can understand your position. Because it's hard, and I know that sometimes you say I failed, but it's not that you failed, it's just the system sometimes works that way. So you gotta remind yourself that it's not you that's failing, sometimes it's the system that fails. So I just want to thank you for everything you do with that population,
Yes, and thank you guys that, of course, they deal, and Crystal's going to give back her time since Commissioner Chesney stepped in, so, because we do have a lot more to say, actually.
And you're way ahead of schedule, so take your
Okay.
time, okay?
Great. Then, I believe Ciso is going to come up and talk to you about the administrative secretary and the new attorney 3 position, which are both also very needed.
Thank you. We are also going to be requesting an administrative assistant 2 for our office. We currently have one administrative assistant 2, and what she does really is, and she does so much for the office, her primary focus is really the management and the operation of our office. It includes going over bills, just doing all the, tracking employment data in our office, and it's a very, very, very busy, full-time position. Now, we're requesting a second administrative assistant too, because we are hoping to create a new position that I don't believe it fully exists here in the county, and it's to create an administrative assistant who's going to be in charge of digital record and digital task management for the office. We have slowly been doing it. It's been impossible, really, to do this while having all sorts of other obligations. But it would be it's imperative to have somebody else there who is going to be helping or assisting to catalog the tasks that come in. So we want to be able to digitally catalog requests that come in from the different elected officials, from the different departments, that, we don't have a robust system that we could have in place. Now, in addition to that, that person would assist with digital task management. So not only would we be cataloging this, but there would be either some form of ticketing that we would have internally to be able to track the items that are coming in, when they're coming in, when they're being closed, and all of this would be to help make the office extremely more efficient. It would be to help out all of the other, the departments here, and it would be a great benefit to the county. In addition to that, this administrative assistant too would also assist with gathering records. We here in the county, sometimes it's been. And we're always able to get the records, but if we have somebody that has a dedicated position to gather documentation, and it's only one person and it's consolidated, then it will greatly increase our efficiency. Now, in addition to this administrative assistant too, and this is not really just because of COVID, this is now because of modernization, this is something that we absolutely need. But we also are asking that we have a new attorney 3 position. Currently, we do have an attorney 2 that has been budgeted for Veterans Cemetery. That's why we have a .75 listed on the budget, but that person currently is not employed. We're requesting that that position be to be reclassified into an attorney 3, and we're requesting and the reason why we're requesting this is because we're hoping to be able to recruit somebody that that has a background in matters, or not necessarily a background, because what one point that we really wanted to make is that the county is growing, the complexity is increasing, and the complexity is increasing, and the county is doing novel tasks and novel projects that other counties have not been doing. What this means is that we're having to develop all sorts of expertises that, for example, that don't exist. For example, you all are very familiar with Veterans Cemetery. This would be the first county in the state of Texas to have a veterans cemetery. And with that, there are potential, or it would be good to have somebody that can dedicate more time to that. And I know that's the purpose of the attorney 2, but we're hoping that it'd be an attorney 3 so that we can recruit somebody with more experience. Another example is the IGSA that's before the court. These are also, new legislation has been passed regarding that. And we're hoping to be able to have somebody that can help or develop an expertise within those fields. Finally, we have several emergency issues that are out there, and a lot of them, they're not novel or new to just Nueces County, but it would be very beneficial to the county to have somebody that can focus on those tasks, in addition to other complex litigation and other complex tasks. Those are the new positions we're requesting. I believe Jenny will be addressing the 2 reclassifications. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Cisco. And I want to note that the position for that attorney 3 that we're asking for, we are asking that that person be veteran preferred, because after this negotiation, I sincerely believe that communication veteran to veteran is much more efficient than civilian attorney to
doubt.
veteran attorney.
No doubt.
So,
Just a quick question before you get into the next phase. It seems to me, and this is all recollection from last year's budget, are you guys what I would call fully staffed? So for example, if the budget last year had, X amount of lawyers, are we using all of the ones that we have, is what I would call open? Yes? Okay, good.
yes.
Go ahead.
Okay. Next, we're asking for the reclassification of the attorney 3 to an assistant chief of training position. Now, it is a big challenge to the efficiency of any organization to just rely on this person's knowledge of a case. That causes problems. What we have to do in order to make this office work smoothly is to create a system whereby a person can come in and understand what's going on, and we have that knowledge not dependent on one personality or one person. What we're trying to do is, in furtherance of that, what we want to do is create an obligation on the part of this attorney 3 to share that institutional knowledge that he has had for, 18 years, is that right? Talking about Kent. What he can do, what we'd like to have him have a job duty to do, is teach those incoming attorneys what he knows. Now, not only is government work unique among lawyers, Nueces County is unique, right? And add to that, that you need to know when you talk with this office that this person knows this about a situation and this person does this part of this function of that office. That is essential. Not knowing it wastes an awful lot of time. And so what we want Kent to do is have in his job description that training and that passing along of that knowledge. And of course, as a part of that, we're also centralizing that knowledge with our hope for computerization and digitization of a lot of things. So right now, that is not a part of his job description. If we make it a part of his job description, we're going to have to compensate by changing his job title and his salary also. Now, finally, we're asking for a reclassification from the position of chief administration to first assistant. And I mentioned this earlier on, it should be more in line with the first assistant in the district attorney's office. Now, what is different now? We are trying to address the need for the county attorney's office and advice to come with a knowledge of business, of finance, and of technology. Now, we are very lucky that in Francisco Zamora, we have that. But we don't want that to disappear with Francisco Zamora.
Right.
I believe that each of you individually has experienced the benefit of this knowledge and of this training that he brings to the table. What we want to do is make that a permanent aspect of that position so that one day when he moves on, you can expect and demand that the next person has that background in finance, technology, and even banking. So
Business.
that's what we're asking from you. And you know, it's we tried to figure out the best and the nicest ways to say this. We just have a different situation than we have had over the past 10 years. The population is growing. That's black and white. You can't change it. We have to address those changes, and we don't want to be a bottleneck for issues. You know, all these departments need us to help them to help the commissioner's court. So what we don't want to be is a bottleneck for that. We want to be an engine for that. And so this is what we're proposing this year.
Thank you. Great backup documentation. How about questions for our county attorney?
I have one question. Why is the attorney two, civil county attorney, split, 'cause it's gonna be split funds, that's what I didn't see. So it's gonna be those funds are our funds,
Well,
be matched with the veterans funds, or?
originally that was proposed. However, I do not believe that any portion, I don't not believe that the veterans people or the GLO are agreeing to pay any portion, but we still have that work to do. So we are asking for that position.
It's kinda low, right?
I'm sorry?
It's kinda low, right?
Low? Well, I mean, we're trying to do the best and be efficient with what we have access to.
I'm just my opinion. So, okay, I just wanted.
Any other questions?
Okay, thank you.
Commissioners.
Well, so we're finished a little bit early, but we'll use the time wisely to prepare for a very big afternoon. And thanks to everybody who came this morning, and particularly for Teresa, who made it possible to have all of the different departments get scheduled. I think this is very beneficial. And of course, we've always invited departments, but this way, we're really getting a much broader look. So we'll see everybody back, and we're recessed until 1 o'clock. And if you take the mics off, Connie, thank you. So let's go ahead and get started, and we've got human resources.
For my department, I'm going to be just asking for 2 printers and 2 scanners, because the printers we have are 15 years old, and the scanners that we have are worn out because we scan everything that comes through my office. So for the 1245 Human Resources Department, that's basically all that I'm asking for.
Okay, that makes yours the shortest presentation ever.
And
Of
then
course, go ahead.
I have the 1280 account, the department, which is benefits. And that department is COVID stricken. And by that I mean our unemployment fund in that department, every year for the past 15 years or so, our employment rate has continued to decrease. And my office works on that very diligently, and we're very careful about that because of the documentation that I work with department heads to make sure that we have the correct documentation in place to be able to fight our unemployment claims. And this year, what I meant by COVID-stricken was that there was several fraudulent claims placed on behalf of Nueces County. And the reason that was happening was people applied for unemployment, and the Texas Workforce Commission was given strict authority to start paying claims without even checking on them. A couple of months ago, I got a bill that we had a deficit. And I was really taken aback by this because every year we get a refund. I've been getting a refund every year. Last year, I think I got close to $200,000 on our unemployment. This year, I got a bill for $50,000. But that wasn't all of it. It was, the total was for $159,000. And because I had $64,000 in deposits with the Texas Association of County, they kept that part. And then the federal government was nice, and they gave us $44,000. So this year, we have a balance of $50,000 due. I've worked with Dale, I've worked with Jenny, I've worked with the county judge, and basically what Texas Association of Counties is telling me is we have to pay it, and if those fraudulent claims come through, that they were declared fraudulent and they're able to get some of that money back, recover it, then we'll get our money back. But they're telling me I have to pay it, and that's just something we have to do. In turn, that has increased our unemployment rate by like 5 thousandths. I mean, it was at 12, and last year it went down to 7, and now it's going back up again. So I've continued to bring it down, but because of the fraudulent claims, because of COVID, it's just the way it is now. And Jenny has had conversations with them. My office has also, and there's not a whole lot much more we can do.
Yeah, it's just up in the air right now. I think there's a lot more we can do. I don't mean that your office, I'm just saying, I think legally, you're not responsible for fraud, period. Okay, so we gotta, but you might be right about this business of we've gotta take care of it, and then we'll get our reimbursement, but not before we send all kinds of legal letters. I mean, in other words, and we did check into cybersecurity, and it didn't cover it.
Right.
Our
I also
insurance.
worked with IT department, correct?
Yeah. It wasn't that kind of, this is like criminal behavior, right?
Yes, people were just hacking the system and using names that they were just getting from anywhere and putting them through the Texas Workforce Commission.
Yeah. And not
Claims.
just us. It was rampant
It's-
all over the
it's
state of Texas.
nationwide.
Yeah,
It's
nationwide.
Yeah, as Julie was saying, this particular department covers the overages that she's talking about if we underfund the unemployment side of it. Because as she's saying, the rate did change, but our rates through our payroll, so it covers all departments. This is just for the overages that she might be discussing now, so this is what covers this area.
But, and, so this was not a data breach, this was
No,
just
sir.
randomly selecting employees? They knew that they were employees, or how did that happen, or?
Just several claims that came across our desk in HR. Because of COVID last year, people were just applying for unemployment.
Okay.
And they usually have a security system where they make you wait 7 days, and then they call the person that's the claimant to verify that it's a valid claim.
Right.
That part was just skipped out. The government said, start paying these claims as soon as they come in. Don't check them, don't send them to the employer, just pay them.
And people took advantage.
And so how they got people's names and social security numbers and got their money, I don't know that part exactly. But not until probably 9 months later did I find out that these claims were being made. And some of them were employees that are still working here, myself included. People that have retired. And that's what drew my eyes to it, is that I noticed there was people on the list that had retired already. And it's like, well, I don't understand why they're applying for unemployment if they retired. So I checked into it further, and it's like, well, these are fraudulent claims.
And were they notified, or, I mean, does this have any bearing on anyone in the future if they needed to use?
I notified the
You
Texas
did.
Workforce and Texas Association of Counties on all the
But
claims.
individually, it didn't matter if, say, my name came up Would I have been notified just to be aware that my information was included in some sort of scheme like this?
Some employees were notified directly by the Texas Workforce
Okay.
Commission to their home address, while others weren't. But if they were coming to the HR department, of course, I was looking into them as to why they were being claimed, and then, we rejected them and told them they were fraudulent claims. So right now, they have a list of all of those claims that we're not accepting and we've rejected here at the county. But like I said, if they had already been paid, they're gonna see if we can recover some of that money.
And there's, we mentioned earlier, so the state of Texas has $16 billion coming to them this fall from the this summer, early fall, from American Relief Plan Act. So these are the types of loss of revenues due to, we think are directly related to COVID-19, that we might want to ask for reimbursement for, right? So we're documenting all of these problems that came out. But it doesn't change the fact that Julie's gonna need to replenish the system and pay for the overages. But again, just know that that's something that we're gonna pursue. And that's, as they say, it was prevalent. The one thing that's gonna happen, Julie, is we have a different system now. So as we have eyes on it, we can report it more quickly.
Correct.
But unfortunately, that's criminal behavior and it's hard to stop it.
Right. And then the last thing that I just wanted to include was, I know Dale asked for software this morning, and I just want to make sure that the HR department is also included when he chooses his software. Because our information flows to his and vice versa, back and forth. So I just want to make sure that we're considered in his software package. I'm not asking for any monies right now, because I'm just trying to piggyback on what Dell chooses.
Right. In other words, you're saying whatever Central Square does, it'll also help HR?
Correct.
Well, whatever software we go to, we're including all packages, including HR, recruiting.
Got it.
Our payroll system, our accounts payable, we're including everything, including purchasing, so it's all inclusive.
Any questions? That's all I have. Thank you.
All right, so that was, no questions there, so we're gonna move on to, just double check it here, to, County Airport, and we've got John here with us today. Okay, we moved it up, so if you'll look, it's not in order, it's under day 3, and, number,
It's day 3, or day 4, excuse me, 05.
okay, day 405.
It should be approximately page 783.
Okay, thank you. It's gonna be at the very end. Okay, we got it. Awesome. Hi, John, welcome.
Morning. Can y'all hear me okay?
Yes, sir. You're ready to go whenever.
Yeah, and I'll probably beat Julie's record for the shortest presentation.
Oh,
'cause
wow.
I'm not here asking for any money either.
Okay,
I think I can work within the budget I have for some of the repairs I needed to take care of at the airport. The budget following year is probably when I'm gonna need some money, because we're gonna have to do one of the aprons needs to be replaced. And
one of the what?
The aprons, one of the ramps needs
Aprons,
to, yeah.
got it.
It was, seal coated in 2005. It should have been, not 2005, 2015. It should have been replaced then, so.
Okay,
I need to do some crack sealing on the runway, but I think we can push that down for another year, so.
well, I think all those capital, if you'll just, create a complete, what I would call comprehensive capital needs list, that would help us so that we can see what funding money, infrastructure-wise, might be available to you. But it looks like, so you're not, it just stays the same then?
Yes, ma'am.
Actually, you went down $6,000.
Well, last year we included a vehicle rental to the airport, and that wasn't necessarily needed, so that we're reducing it for that
I
purpose.
see. I see. And when we get our new 55 cars, did we talk about getting John one of those older cars that we're gonna cycle out so he can use it as a
I have a courtesy.
You
car.
got it now.
You do have a
Okay,
courtesy car, yes, ma'am.
awesome.
Yep,
Thank you.
we're good to go.
That's
For
good.
now.
And all that damage that occurred because of the floods, I know we're documenting it, but just for the Commissioners Court, we don't know if that would ever get declared, but, we've gone ahead and I think we've met our county threshold, so
Yes, ma'am.
it's always a possibility we could get those dollars back. So let's make sure we keep track of everything we do to
Yeah, I do.
repair.
I've got it all stuck in one file, and that's the most water I've ever seen on the airport in my 5 years there. So
Yeah,
It
I
got
mean.
really, really deep.
We might get a disaster, I mean, we are declared locally, but I'm saying
Right.
we might get a state declaration.
Right.
So,
And that's a first for me with lightning hitting the runway also. That was, in
yeah,
all my years, I've never seen that happen.
crazy.
So it was. But that's all I have.
Okay, so just really the ceiling coat, repairing the runway,
Yes, ma'am.
and,
That's it.
That's
Well,
it.
we know, we need to build some hangars, but that's.
That's another day,
That's
yeah.
Another day, exactly.
Well, cross your fingers, another day might be coming.
I hope so.
Okay, thank you. Questions for John?
Good.
Okay, super.
Thank y'all.
Thank you so much. That puts us fast, right? All of a sudden, we were behind, now we're ahead. So now we're gonna go to IT, but they weren't here, they didn't need to come until 2:00. So let's go check on them, see if they can make that adjustment. Or if anybody else wants to come in if they cannot.
IT starts on page 65. Under records and imaging.
Okay, so let's go back to their regular.
They have all of them included, right? Records, imaging, IT,
Right, so
Then,
remember,
records management, yes, and then, the 1470 records management, yes.
1470, yeah.
Yes.
Okay. Judge or Dale, are we going to be here on Friday, or is that just left as an option, or?
I need
Just
to ask
curious.
Tyner.
We didn't have enough room on the board to even post it. When we're done today, we will be posting Friday.
Oh, gotcha.
Okay,
So
Yeah.
when we get done today, we didn't have enough space on the board
Scary,
outside. So
right?
we'll remove today and post Friday. We'll get this out to you at the end of the day.
Yeah, okay.
okay,
Thank you.
thanks. And then we might as well alert JJ that we're ahead of schedule, okay, since he needs to come from the RTA building.
And while we're waiting on them, we're just wanting to be, this is our first year of putting this all book together. Hopefully it's useful to y'all, and if there's any way we can change it, feel free to give us some information. We'll definitely change it how best fits us.
I love it. It's great.
It is good.
When I was cleaning closets out this weekend, I literally kept all these single papers, that we used to go through. So this is much appreciated, having it all in one spot.
This is not 100% inclusive. If we did, this would be 1,500 pages long, so we kind of reduce it down some.
No, it's very, very good, very helpful. It's a good day one so far.
But we'll still get you the other book when we get closer to our August and July, August ending year. Also get you the other book that has all the tax rate values in it.
Okay.
So tomorrow we're meeting at 10 on Tuesday, is that
Yes.
correct?
Tyner, you want to confirm 10 a.m.?
Is it 10 a.m., Teresa, tomorrow?
Yes, no, yes, no. Yes. Tuesday is at 9.
Tuesday's at 9.
Thursday,
is at 10. No.
Tomorrow's at,
Oh, wait.
tomorrow is at 10.
Tuesday's at 10, Thursday, Friday
Thursday,
is at
Friday's
9.
at 9.
okay,
There we
okay,
go.
there you go.
You okay?
Yeah.
Too many dates and times and numbers. Tuesday's 10, Thursday, Friday, 9. Gotcha. That's what I had, just wanted to double check. Okay.
So funny.
Just wanted to confuse Teresa.
No, I'm trying not to. Too many numbers, right? They're spilling out. We can karaoke while we wait.
What music do you want?
That's right, you're the jukebox, I forgot about that.
I'll say something, and we're gonna have vaccinations at the courthouse coming up very soon. So kind of, we're starting to see so much foot traffic here. And so you'll see that on the schedule. We just approved that this morning, so that was really good. You know, just a lot of, we didn't know how that would work when we did our RTA transfer stations, and we were getting 50 a day. And that's just people coming to the bus. So, again, you never know what's hit or miss, but we're gonna try that here. So, you'll see that. That's the latest breaking news. And Commissioner, I didn't get a chance to answer, to kind of piggyback on the lady that was upset.
Oh, yeah,
But I'm
so-
gonna, I wanna visit with you. Maybe we can, there's, I mean, what do you do, right? I mean,
It's a tough spot because they don't have an active drainage district like we do out in Robstown, and so they're in Petronilo, so they're able to cover a lot of that.
Yeah.
And so they're expecting it to all fall on us, which we don't have the resources
Right.
to handle that.
So, all I can tell you is let's meet on that little subject, see if there's anything we can do. I just didn't know what to say
It
just
started
yet.
on the animal, so
It-
Juan had said to send out his officers just to do welfare checks, make sure there's none stranded. That was stranded, so they approached her.
We
then the
expect to see
conversation
Edward.
Turned, well, we wouldn't have water if it weren't for you all, right? That was what
Okay,
it
yeah.
turned into.
Well,
a
actually,
morning
we wouldn't have water if we had topography, but we don't, we're like this.
That's the bad thing.
I mean, it was a, you know, like John said, it's a freak.
And then they called ITA.
Hang on, I got a
Tyler,
on the end.
They're between
Tyler,
12
are the mics on?
and 18 inches,
Yes.
Yes, they are on.
So,
yeah. Well, we wanna try to see if we can help.
yeah, I got so many calls
they want me to
over the
kill 'em?
weekend about that.
Okay.
But that's one of the areas that we're
Anybody call
working
over
on with
ITA?
IRT to help
Well,
fix.
right.
So,
Exactly.
There you go. There's our
Hey,
IT.
sorry about that, but we wound up having an opportunity to have the two quickest presentations before you. And so thanks for coming out of order, and good to have you here with us. And we'll let you start whenever you're ready.
Okay, all right, still been trying to cram it in, so.
I
was,
know. Well, take your time.
Yeah, working till Brenda told me and I walked out the door printing this out. So, yeah, it's a lot of information to go through in such a short time, so I've been spending some time with Dale. They're discussing when the drop dead dates are for things, because obviously there's a whole lot to look at in funding, and do hope to make some changes, but we do need to move gracefully with that. So having said that, Connie, if you could bring up 1240 first,
Are you there?
or Lisa.
Okay.
And Lisa, if you'll just help us on the tab, 1240 is,
1240 is page 91.
Thank you.
It's all part, so the entire IT is gonna be together.
Got it.
Starts with 0131, and then it goes to 1240. It's page
Got it.
91.
got it, thank you.
Okay, under the 1240, which is pure information technology, covering the salaries and everything, benefits for employees. Most of what you see here, and actually it's going to be like that, I'm going to kind of use the same wording on all of these, is that they're all going to be primarily carryover. There's nothing that I'm presenting today that would be an increase in funding outside of the normal rise in costs that happen annually. So, and under employees, we don't have any additions planned, of course. And right now, we have one position open and another one that's looking at retirement later on that we hope to avoid, actually, because that's someone in working with financing in the Odyssey system. We want to make sure that others are fully trained before that happens. But I am going to work with the department and kind of temporarily freeze the position that is open until I have an opportunity to talk with you, Judge, about that position. And it's just, along with everything else, want to not make any hasty decisions on anything, but to get more familiar with what's going on here, where all the funding is going, and what we need to do to kind of rearrange things and get better. We have infrastructure upgrades and network equipment, consolidation of infrastructure services, primarily how all the satellite county entities come into this courthouse, because we're kind of scattered out between service providers, and some of it is older technology as well. So basically, under 1240, everything is going to be a carryover. I will be looking at them individually in more detail, getting with employees inside the department to see where the money, what they have seen in trends, where funding has gone in the past. Looking at, for example, the office expenses and supplies. I'm seeing $18,000 like that is just one example of how across the board it seems to get appropriated like that, whereas the actual expenditures may come in less than that. That's a minor one, but we're going to look at all of these line items with respect to that and see where we can squeeze money out of these, because in the areas of primarily cybersecurity, as far as getting us current, we've got some money that's going to have to be spent there to get us where we need to be protected, of course, but also with the compliances that I see us facing, and therefore ever tightening up on those, and they do affect funding, especially in grants. And so we do want to make sure we're compliant there in cybersecurity for many reasons. So anyway, this, like I said, this is going to be mostly carryover. I will be working with the auditor's office on some of these specific line items where we'll see if we can squeeze some money, rearrange it, see how services budget out, where whenever we do get more modern connectivity with the satellites out there, that we can get under one vendor and, like I said, modernize it and see how that compares to the costs that we're doing right now, because in some cases it may seem like it's going to go up when it actually may go down, or at least we'll try to keep it the same. So outside of that, unless somebody has any questions in specific on 1240, I'm going to move on to another one.
Yeah, I have a question on the 1240, my page 95. I'm just trying to write down some notes, so you may have covered it while I was busy writing notes on a previous item, but on professional services, is that a typo? Should it be 819 on 2021 budget and proposed, or is that actually 19,000 and a $800,000 drop?
Well, the reason for that, Commissioner Darrell may not know this, when we first started this, a lot of the software that we now account for as a software services, which is the next line below it, it was being budgeted there, but it was being expensed correctly. So all we did was move the budget from there below. So if you see the one below it, that's 210, is now 1.8. So we just kind of moved that 800,000 below.
Gotcha.
And y'all will recall that that software as a service is being tackled in our 2021 COs. And we tackled it last time in our 2019 COs, just so you'll remember that. Go ahead.
That's good.
Okay.
Okay.
All right. Any other questions in that area?
Picked a
I think we're
picked a
good.
tough time to come on board, didn't you? A few weeks before budget.
I'm sorry, what was that?
I said you picked a tough time to come on board with a few weeks before budget.
Yes,
Yeah,
yes.
And let me just say that we're gonna have lots of flexibility with you.
Sure.
And this is really just super preliminary. It helps us get a feel for where we are. But in your case, information technology affects every department, affects us countywide. As you noted, cybersecurity is at a different place than it was even 3 years ago. Our mandates are different. The threats are different in our globe and in our nation, and we've seen that in living color over the last few weeks. And also, the auditor is going to help you. I'm enjoying the moment because everything that you said about the line items and squeezing it out, you're going to get a good lesson, right, Dale, on how he does things with regards to office supplies and travel and everything. And you're probably not going to squeeze anything out of those, even though it looks like you're over budgeted. And he'll explain why and how that methodology. I did the same exact thing when I came in. I'm like, look. Here's $1 million we can save. And they're like, well, that's not how we do it, you know? But having said that, there's always room. But you'll see that there's a methodology, and it's there to really protect the office, protect you, so that you've got enough cushion to move dollars around when you need it. Having said that, there might be something that's totally off skew. And so if you see that you just need to work with Dale, he'll help you. But overall, I think you're really zeroing in on the right things, which is cybersecurity.
Yeah.
So, yeah, where should we head to next in our packet?
Let's see, we can go to 0131
All right.
for records imaging.
So you're over before page 84,
Say that again.
page 85.
Got it? Okay.
This one's pretty short and sweet and is going to be the same way. It's primarily carryover, continuing as usual, no additions and any personnel or anything like that planned. Again, we'll be applying that squeeze word where we can. Now, this one I have contingency with a question mark because that's there's a pretty high number there, and we're going to cover this in another category as well, but the contingency appropriation, so obviously Judge and Dale, that would be something that I would be inquiring about with that particular one. I don't know if y'all want to cover it here, or just an overview to understand what that contingency appropriation is there. And like I said, we're going to see that again when we get to the 1304.
I can explain that for you. The contingency appropriation is basically your fund balance of that particular fund for Department 13, which this is a Fund 13 function. We usually zero out your entire fund balance and put it as contingency based on in case you need it for some other purpose. So we can consider it as contingency appropriations, even though it's really not and we do not expect a budget item to be applied to it. So that's just basically what at the end of the year, that was the fund balance of that was remaining at the time.
Okay. Well, if you'd be so kind as to leave it there till I have time to look. That's certainly a number that entertains some of.
And that probably will go up. I believe if I ever did the estimated actuals of that, I believe that's increasing, but I'll make sure you'll have the right amount.
Okay, all right, thank you. Okay, are there any questions on this little section? If not, we can move on over to another short one, 1304. The county records management.
Page 102.
In this fund, it's going to be the same. Another carryover is primarily what we're doing. No additions planned in any way here. Again, we'll be looking to squeeze. I'm going to take it that the contingency explanation applies the same here.
Okay. But it looks pretty much the same.
Yep.
Okay.
And so again, are there any questions in this area?
Only thing I want to just bring to your attention, it's not so much on this budget, but something for us to have a great dialogue about, is that the records warehouse is a real, the actual facility is a real issue, and I think you probably know that. And there's going to be an agenda item actually on this court coming up to talk about that. We've identified kind of the will to look and see what else is out there in the market, because we know what we're paying monthly in rent. It doesn't come out here, but I just want to showcase that could really be, we could get even more futuristic and probably create better technology if we had a better facility that we were, operating. And so that's just something I think exciting to look forward to, and just maybe star it or mark it for Wednesday's court is something that we want to talk about. I mean, it's long time coming, but it's the humidity and the water entrance, and it's just so frightening for us every time we have a major torrential rain or weather event that we're going to compromise these very fragile documents. And also, just as a side note, this court invested $2 million a year ago in digitization, and there's an item also on the court, just for your situational awareness, for another $260,000 investment with the district clerk for child support records. So, you know, every chance we get, we're trying to like take out and move over and digitize, and then they're also doing a lot of storekeeping for us, CoFile is, so as long as we're doing work with them, we can actually store a lot of documents. So we've done a lot of good work. It's certainly just a fraction of what's needed. But just kind of for situational awareness, we know that there's a lot going on there. Simultaneously, Records Warehouse on the 6th floor has really made massive improvements, but we also had issues there with moisture, and so we're constantly juggling those. I just wanted you to know that there were these two items coming up, so not to bombard, but just in an effort to try to get you a better facility and better modernization through digitization.
Okay, great. Yes, and I did browse through the agenda coming up Wednesday. I saw 3 or 4 things I was
Yeah.
going to ask about and certainly be present for.
Thank you, and we'll
any
get together
discussion.
with you before Wednesday so that you have even more heads up.
Okay. all
Thank
right,
you.
Great, yes, ma'am. Okay, and then our last one here would be 1470 on records management again.
Page 108. And this is the department where we show the rent for the facility we're
Right.
currently using.
So this category, once again, we're just looking at carrying over what we're doing. No additional plans, adding anything. We'll try to squeeze something out of here. Of course, this is will be one, as you were just talking about, Judge, where we'll have some ongoing discussions where we've got the facility included in here. But outside of that, it's just routine, ongoing operations. So if anyone has any questions in this area, we could.
Guys, any commissioners have any questions? Okay, I think we're good here. The only thing I would ask is just to check, oh, I'm sorry. Only thing I'd ask is check with Miss Elizabeth because of the rains. I was notified that, you know, anytime we get rains, you wonder whether anything has happened that would require some dollars to cure. And so just triple check with her that these last torrential rains, she didn't have any issues that might need to be tended to.
Okay.
We're happy to understand that these weather events are through no fault of anybody, so.
Okay.
Just
I
do
think
it.
I will plan on a trip, which I was planning on one anyway, down to the warehouse.
Sounds
trying to
good.
get everywhere I can, but with the agenda items coming up on Wednesday, I think it'd be a good idea to go see that facility.
I think it's a great
now.
idea.
Yeah, I'll be a little more ahead of the game on that. So kind of in closing and things to go over, we covered those contingency funds I was wondering about, but any programs that are ongoing that might have came through the Commissioner's Court? I know we've been doing the kind of ad hoc different areas of COVID vaccines, and we've been running the Luminaire software. And funding for that, I noticed it looked like there was a hope for FEMA to come through, or somebody on the federal side. With all the relief out there, you'd think that we might get something on that, but I'm not sure if we will. But we still have some, those are line items in the budget, the Luminaire software, and it's pretty high. So if we kind of know what our plan's going to be as far as continuing to set up the sites and everything. Just want to keep that under tab so that we can plan that out right and see if we want to maintain the same level of funding in there.
Correct. And what I'll do is reach out to Melissa Munguia to work with you in your schedule so she can help advise on that. She's our emergency management coordinator. I actually thought maybe I saw her in the hallway just a little while ago, so we'll have her reach out to you. But I think that's really an important point you bring up. So for your knowledge, anything that is FEMA vaccination, we have advanced funding, and we've already received 50% of it. So if we can work with auditor's office and with our disaster recovery, what we need to do is apply those dollars to the inoculate. That's what it's called, Luminaire Inoculate. And then if they claw back, well, they claw back. But I believe it is an appropriate use or expenditure. The issue is just qualifying it. So the way it works is you get an eligible project, that's what they call it. And then once you deem it eligible, then you get to submit the reimbursement form. But in this case, we already have the money, so that's where it gets a little intriguing. Sometimes you're looking for the money and you're the banker and then they repay you. But on this, anything having to do with vaccinations, so remember Luminaire is two, right? It's Luminaire, I forget what, and then the second one's Inoculate. So the first one was testing. I just remember what their name was.
It's on page 93.
Thank you. What was it called?
It's Luminaire Quick Screen.
Quick Screen.
And Inoculate.
Right, so Quick Screen's something different, but Inoculate, we already have those funds, so it's a matter of working with everybody to see how we can book it right, so to speak. But Melissa can help you with that next piece of your question, which is what are we really expecting? And I don't want this to freak you out, but I think we're expecting to keep it operational, through, at least all of 2022 because of the mass vaccinations that will need to occur, what they call the booster. And we'll start boostering people probably as early 2022.
Okay.
So, but again, we've got Chief Kidd coming in this week. I'm going to ask that question, and I'll get back to you. But really, Melissa's going to be a terrific resource for you. And again, not to bombard you, so whenever you're ready.
Okay.
Okay?
Okay, sounds good. Okay, let's see, I think we've pretty much covered everything. Let's talk about, looking at squeezing funds wherever we can, trying not to increase, and definitely looking at the grants. We do have to be compliant. Something that's out there right now, for example, is the cybersecurity training, when those come across for county employees to do. I believe we still have a pretty good head count of people out there that need to complete that by June 14th. And they all need to understand that that is tied to funding, especially primarily the grant funding. But with the American Relief Fund out there, there's a lot of money available through grants right now, but we have to make sure that we're compliant. So we'll with some of this information, like I said, Judge, you and I need to visit so I can look at means of communicating items as I go through them and collect more information, and anywhere where I might need some Commissioners Court nudging in areas to make sure people are moving along, doing what they need to do.
Yeah.
And then, of course, I'll be the one getting on the vendors and making sure that they're getting us where they need to get us as far as their product being compliant, and that we can get the reporting that we need out of these applications. And so that leads kind of to the last area, which is in applications. I've been listening out all the applications. I've started on some of those, going visiting with department heads and with our app side of the IT department on that. We spend a lot of money on applications, and so one thing I'll be doing is prioritizing that we are getting the most out of these applications. Any of them that I've already noticed, some that have been kind of stagnant, and we want to get those as live as they possibly can, or look at something else we should be doing in those areas. one of those, like working with the auditor's office. I did go to a demo with them on a product called Workday as a finance system. I really liked it. The people that came up with that company and that product, been in the business a very long time, came from PeopleSoft. The technology behind it is very modern, but it's a very, very complete application. And it's one I would use as an example of how the county can start streamlining its operation overall, become much more efficient. And then, you know, it's, you'll see positions that we have in the county that sometimes their specific purpose is to work on one thing because it seems to fall outside of the application that the department is typically using, but won't do that particular function. Just inefficiencies in applications that we want to target. I don't, whenever I say, you know, you have a person doing it, I don't like doing things that lay people off, but certainly attrition could be applied.
Sure.
And that's why I want to hold off on the position we have till I take a look at where we're at with things and make sure that it's absolutely necessary to fill that position. So, so that about sums it up. If there are any more questions,
Just food for thought. So as you're building your budget, like you said, you might find some dollars here and then you might think of things that you hadn't thought of before. So here's a couple of things just to think about. And that's our onboarding and offboarding policies. Because cybersecurity is so heightened right now, we think that just in talking amongst ourselves that maybe focusing on our onboarding and our offboarding a little bit better, and that might require you to have better resources, that could really improve our systems here. And in that same vein, we're working with the new security badging system. And so again, this concept of can we talk to everybody, like when we talk about Everbridge or whatever type of system it is that we're communicating with department head to all their employees, that turns out to be something that we really like. Some people use it so well and others don't have any like eyes on it. And then finally, just in the light of we've identified a gap, and that gap is we can't seem to talk to everybody, even though we want to. And so they lose out on valuable county information, and that's because they're either a state employee with a state email and not a county email, or there might be a maintenance person who's out in the field, but they don't have. And so one of our goals is to be able to have the resources to have every single person have a county email. So when we talk to everyone, we really do mean everyone. But that's not just our county folks. It's also people like maybe in probation that might have a state, right? Anybody that's got that state component but is tied to us would benefit by our information. And this is something that's kind of plagued us for a while in emergency management, is how do we make sure, but we got to figure if they've got a paycheck with our seal on it, we got to know who they are. And so somewhere in the ask and the what it'll take to get there, you might need some dollars. So I don't want you to cut yourself short on that request, because that's really something that we think will help you too. Because you want to be able to communicate, like on cybersecurity, right? Did we miss people because they just didn't know about it? Most likely because they don't have an email address.
Yes.
And so those are some of the things that I want you to think about. And then I always believe every good budget should anticipate maybe not this calendar year, but maybe the next. You set the stage for what the dream is. And one thing that we talked about just in setting these very robust agendas all week is the lack of a digital informational wall, like an LED wall. We literally don't have a way to modernize all our postings up front. And that's something that it could be just a wish list, doesn't have to be part of your budget, so to speak, that you're particularly asking for, but we just don't have the digital info out there. We're still old school, like everything is thumbtacked, papers falling down, dirty glass looking in. I mean, you really, if the goal is information to the public, we're missing the boat. And so that's just something I was gonna have you think about. You can wait till midsummer. We can always add it as a wish list, but as we contemplate what ARPA funds could be used for, both inside the courthouse and outside, we really lack information. I mean, SecOps winds up answering a lot of questions.
So this is information outside of what the county clerk's office
Yes.
uses their information
Yes.
systems for down there?
Yeah, and like, go take a look at it this morning. It's like packed, with papers. And I just think at some point, the modernization is available to us. And it's like DocuSign. We had a casual conversation before you arrived about DocuSign. And we know that's gonna be, transitional dollars, but think about all the dollars it'll save in human capital if we were able to DocuSign. I mean, you wouldn't believe the volume of papers that I will sign after court. It's like ridiculous in the modern world. And so I think that the goal has to be to get as much, and then you say they're scanning, right? So it's not just the human capital of signing, but the ability to say, it's scanned already. I've DocuSigned it, and it's cataloged. So just food for thought. If any of those strikes a bell with you where you say, gosh, I can see that application, go ahead and think about it in your resources. Even if it doesn't get funded this year, it gets the court thinking about the modernization of our processes.
Yeah. Yes, we have DocuSign in-house a little bit right now, not in any kind of a live mode at the moment, but we just raised it as a priority in
Awesome.
the IT department, because, yeah, that's
Yeah,
that's been out there for a while. yeah,
Right.
So we got to get out of the
We gotta
dark
get there.
ages where.
we do. We have to gather document. Like, this is a great example. You missed it, but earlier Julie needs 2 printers and 2 scanners. Well, the printers are something different, right? But she needs 2 scanners. But if we were on DocuSign, right, if there were, I mean, she still may need a scanner, but the point is that you might raise here, but you might lower there.
Yes, yep. Yeah, ultimately it will. I mean, eventually you should be able to transition out, so you'll see a little parallel. But as time goes on, more of the hardware falling by the wayside, because everything's
Yeah.
already digitized, and you just flow it that away
Yeah.
and get away from the hard copies. So.
And since you're making a list of all those awesome to-do things, we have I told you we had that co-file agenda item. I don't know if they're coming in person or not, but there's a lady named Kathy Drolet, and she's our co-file rep. And maybe you could also take a trip to Dallas and go see their operation, because that would also give you a feel for what's available to you for the records management.
Yes. Yeah, I need to track her down.
Yeah, we'll get, Maggie will help you with that later today.
Okay.
Okay,
all right,
thank
great.
you.
All right, thank y'all.
Thank you so much. Anybody else before he leaves? Questions? Okay, thanks. We'll see you on Wednesday.
All right. Thank you.
Okay, still ahead of schedule, but here with us is JJ De La Cerda. We've got Veteran Services. Michael's in the room, so he's on deck. And once Michael goes up, you might want to let Public Works know that we're ahead of schedule. At least right now, we are. We'll see.
No, there's
MP4.
Since 2014, Oasis County has been consistently awarded TVC grant funds. And since then, we have helped.
Good afternoon, Judge and Commissioners. Thank you for having me early. Mine is going to be very short, to be honest. The only thing I'm asking for is $630, and that's for our rent increase over at the RTA building. But I did provide some packets for you. I did want to push those out so that you could see what we've been doing during COVID. And those events that you see on that documentation that you have were absolutely no cost to the county. So we continue to do our work during the COVID, and all of this was at no expense to the county. So just an FYI on that. I did also include the reports, our quarterly reports about who we help with the food pantry, the hygiene pantry, bus passes, financial assistance with our partners over at Social Services, DD 214 requests, and of course, VA benefit applications, just for your records. And I don't know if Maria and Natalie were able to share with the court, but we did put a video together to submit to the Texas Veterans Commission Funds for Veteran Assistance. It's our grant program. And I don't know if Natalie was able to share that with the court, but if it pleases the court, I'd like to share that with you now.
Yes, let's take a look.
Since 2014, Nueces County has been consistently awarded TVC grant funds. And since then, we have helped countless veterans and their dependents in their time of need. From helping to put food on their tables, assisting with funeral expenses, and helping them avoid homelessness, Nueces County has stood steady by our veterans. We are proud and honored to have helped many struggling vets and their families like these over the last 6 years. And with your approval, we hope to assist even more in 2021. Nueces County's system for helping veterans in despair was solid. Then it happened, and the world changed.
Breaking news tonight, the coronavirus outbreak declared a global pandemic as U.S. cases rise over 1,000.
The first death from coronavirus here in the United States. A man in his 50s dying from COVID-19 infection in Washington state.
Businesses across the country forced to shut their doors, already leading to absolutely stunning increases on unemployment claims.
This pandemic altered the lives of all Americans, and veterans were no exception. Because of our area's reputation for honoring and caring about veterans, Nueces County has a large population of those who have served our nation, and our vulnerable veterans needed this funding more than ever. The Nueces County Department of Social Services and Veteran Services banded even stronger together to ensure that no veteran in need was left behind.
It for sure has been a challenge serving our clients in this new normal. Lots of thinking outside the box, and of course, the safety of county staff and our veterans is definitely a top priority. But I am happy to say that we have met all of these challenges head on and have been very successful in fulfilling our mission.
Veterans have lost their jobs and are more so now hurting financially. Both departments provide services virtually when possible, but that can't always be the case. So with extra safety measures, creativity, and elbow grease, we haven't missed a beat when assisting our vets. And although the state of Texas has a moratorium on evictions, that will soon change. And with the approval of a new grant award, Nueces County will be prepared to help veterans and their dependents keep their utilities on or from losing their homes. All the more now do Nueces County veterans need this funding in these uncertain times.
Very good.
Thank you, Judge.
Very good.
And we'd like to thank Sal Hernandez. He's our partner over at Social Services. He put this video together, so
It's well
we
done.
thank him very much.
So well done.
Something we're very proud of, the grant, and we hope to get it back.
Yes. And speaking of the grant, the General Assistance Fund grant from the Texas Veterans Commission, it will hurt if we don't get it back, because it does help us provide that extra person in your office.
That's correct. Yes, ma'am.
I think it might be at least smart to at least have a contingency budget if we don't get the grant back. We do have I'm gonna ask Tyner to help put an agenda item together so that the court can resolve, a resolution to support I'm gonna call it a motion to reconsider. But a letter will go out from ourselves and from our legislative delegation urging them to reconsider. But if we don't get it, would there be a budget that you could put together for us so that it would be as if we did not miss a beat?
Yes, ma'am. Absolutely. I can put that together. And of course, my office is a two-person office. If they don't renew this grant, we lose a half person, and that's a big hit for us.
Right.
So.
I feel like we need to at least consider contingently approval of what happens if they don't. But all the while urging that they provide an explanation and a rationale for taking the grant after 8 years of tremendous work.
Yes, ma'am. That'd be great.
Okay.
And I did also want to mention that the events that I included, these are all separate from the actual grant delivering that we did, the delivering of home-to-home pantry. So all of these events that we put together are separate from what we did for the grant, and we delivered once or twice a week, even during the pandemic. So, and that's all I have, Judge and Commissioners. Is there any questions I can answer for you?
Any questions?
Excuse me, JJ, how long have you been out there at the RTA?
At the RTA, sir, I believe Veteran Services moved over there maybe 4 years ago, 4 or 5 years ago.
Is this the first time your rent has gone up?
No, sir.
Really?
No, sir. I believe it went up last year.
Did it?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Thank you.
Yes, sir.
Thank you, JJ.
Thank you, Judge.
All right, super. So we'll move on to purchasing and with Michael at this time. And again, if somebody would let, Tyner, if you would let Public Works know that we're ahead of schedule.
I do.
Thank you. I just want to double check, Commissioner Chesney, are you hearing us okay? Okay, that's fine. I just wanted to make sure he was on. He is. Go ahead.
Okay, good afternoon, Judge and Commissioners. So mine will be pretty quick as well, similar to Timothy's. We're not planning on increasing our head count. The exception would be in the case that we move forward with the cemetery, where the arrangement was that we would receive a senior buyer position in which the General Land Office would fund 75% of that position and the county would fund the other 25%. All of the other budget categories remain static except for vehicle rent. And for any department that's going to get a vehicle replacement in this budget cycle, and we'll be having that on the agenda on Wednesday for the new fleet, they will have an expense item under the vehicle rent category for the lease payments. And then the only other thing we had was a very $170 increase in the copier lease. So
very steady here.
very steady. We did, I did want to acknowledge the fact that having the multiple disasters last year, we did have increased activity for the few folks that are in our office, and everybody had to take on, some higher volume of work. We don't foresee necessarily that volume is going to maintain, so we didn't feel the need to request additional staff at this time, especially in light of the fact that the way the cemetery project is heading, we might very well get an additional staff member funded through that program, so that would alleviate some of that burden. And then one of the other areas that we're going to be focusing on, at least as far as I'm concerned, is over the next 2 years, is to relook at positioning some of the services that purchasing has taken on over the years back to responsible departments such as the sheriff's office for things such as radios and outfitting of the law enforcement vehicles. And so we've already had communications with Sheriff Hooper and Chief Cook, and they're very receptive to the idea of taking on that ownership. And just so y'all know, I guess this is going to be some words that speak outside of directly purchasing, but we've done a lot of things in this last year that are going to set the county up pretty well financially as far as not having to replace things right away. So we've just replaced the entire copier fleet for the whole county. So that means we have a 5-year lease for all the copiers. So we shouldn't be coming to you needing copiers unless there's a new department that requires an additional copier for that application. Otherwise, we should be status quo for the next 5 years. Also, we recently purchased firearms for the sheriff's office, so they've got new duty weapons that should last them closer to 10 years.
Great.
We also have deployed brand-new radios for the entire fleet. So this is all the handheld radios, and the in-car radios are being deployed right now as well. So we'll be set for the next 5 to 10 years on those. And these are major items. I mean, they took quite a bit of time in our office, but it's not something that's recurring every year. So once we get these deployed, largely the activity will revolve around if a radio breaks and needs to be serviced, then the sheriff's office will be positioned to take care of those needs. And then district courts courtroom seating. So over the last 2 years, Judge, you know, we've worked really hard to get new seating for the courtrooms upstairs. And Dale has also created a budget line item so that we're saving money each year to account for those replacements eventually when those come up again. So we have a mechanism in place to fund any future needs we have for those type of chairs, but right now we have brand new ones and should be good for another 5 years, 5 to 10 years actually. Let's see if there's anything else. Oh, the other thing I want to mention is, you know, this year we started off with having our first electronic bid, and that software costs money, but that money was paid for as part of our CIP plan, and we're utilizing Project Mates for that. We're also investigating the use of publicpurchase.com. They have a similar ability. That one comes at no charge to the county, so we are going full force into seeing if that's something that can be viable for us going forward. So that way we can continue to have electronic bidding, which gives a greater opportunity for those who are outside our area to participate, or those that have trouble getting to the courthouse have an ability to respond to bids at no additional cost to the taxpayer. And I think that's it. If y'all have any questions.
That's great.
I have some questions, sure. So you said that eventually you're transitioning over to the sheriff's office making their own purchases? Is that what you said?
No.
In a nutshell, or no?
No, I didn't say that.
Oh, okay.
So what I
That's what I
said
heard.
was managing the transition. So all purchasing still resides in the purchasing office. So
Okay.
when we go to, if we have to purchase new radios, for example, for a new fleet, that purchase will come through my office. It'll come here before the court to be approved. And so once that purchase has been made, though, the actual programming of the individual radios to the individual radio holders, operators, that would be done by the sheriff's office.
Gotcha,
And we would also continue to work with Metrocom to make sure that we're in alignment with what the next proposed change is, because they seems like it's been every 5 years, 5 to 7 years or so, they come up with a new model they want us to have.
So that's less time being put on you and your office?
Yes.
Okay, good. Thank you.
Yeah, so definitely we're going to stay heavily involved with those decisions that get made. But we will have less of that day-to-day pull. So like, I lost Romeo for like 2.5 weeks as he was programming a whole room full of individual radios that stacked from me to you this high. And so it's going to help us. It's going to help also the sheriff's office. It's going to help the constables as well, because they'll be providing service for them on these radios too. So we're looking out for all those.
Thank you.
Any other questions?
Well, something Michael didn't maybe admit to, but the fleet vehicle leasing that we've gone through, we're probably at least halfway done. Is that correct?
Yes, the actual next round of fleet will be on the Wednesday agenda for the 55 vehicles, and that covers virtually all the departments that had requests for vehicles. So we're covering 25 law enforcement vehicles and 30 other department vehicles.
In our normal process, we were doing this for Capital Outlay, we were replacing 11 to 15 cars per year. Now we're doing 50. So now the older fleet's being replaced, and we should be seeing a lot less cost in maintenance repairs, and gas efficiency should be a lot higher. So I need to commend Michael and Romeo on getting what they need to do for getting the fleet. Now, we are a little bit tied in our hands because of the supplies right now are not where they need to be, but they're working on it.
Yeah, you know, there's a large shortage of trucks right now
Right.
In the country. And so as part of when we put that request out to Enterprise, we're going to be working on a yearly basis. So what the work that we're doing Wednesday is authorizing the ordering of the fleet. Those fleet will not largely arrive until next year at this time. So we're going to be working on that cycle for now. But any vehicles that Enterprise can locate for us on the ground, we'll try to get as many of those as we can sooner. We believe there are some scheduled to come in the late summer and some again in the December timeframe. And we'll work with those individual departments as those vehicles become available.
Okay, that sounds good. And then the other item that you said you didn't mention, but will also help us in our longevity is all the body cams and all the equipment that we've gotten to all our constables and across the board. So it seems like, just like there's cycles for, fixing things, we've also are now on a cycle for having replaced.
Right,
And so I
and-
think that's gonna help too.
And, as always, the purchasing department's goal is to support the needs of the elected and appointed officials. So everyone that comes before you today with needs that you guys authorize at a later date will involve our office in every one of those departments. So there's just a few folks in my office. We do a great job, and we're happy to do so. And just extend, if any department head has any questions about their items as they're being procured once the budget has been established, please don't hesitate to check on
Yeah,
their items
thank you.
with our office.
Okay, are there any other questions? Also, Connie, when Commissioner Chesney, just make sure he can unmute himself. I think he's permanently muted.
No, ma'am.
No, he's okay?
The participants have to unmute themselves. Zoom
Oh.
does not let me unmute.
Got it.
There he
Okay.
goes. He just
There he is.
unmuted.
Okay, we just wanted to make sure he can unmute. Sorry. Okay, wonderful. Well, Michael, I think if there are no other questions,
And my one
We
parting,
appreciate it.
one
Go
more
ahead.
parting word I'd like to get
Yes.
out there, since I have everyone's ears, is
yes,
as y'all are making your purchases, department heads, just remember that although the items that are between $25,000 and $50,000 do not come to court for approval, they still are subject to those same purchasing guidelines. And so if you're required to get 2 quotes or 3 quotes, you need to do that. We'll be looking for those as those POs cross my desk. And you may get an email from me, and some departments have, where I'm asking for that. And I'm just asking for verification to make sure that we remain in compliance with
Great.
fair competition in the community.
super. Okay, thank you. And of course, they all come to court for,
Yes, every PO,
approval.
no matter what dollar level, eventually gets approved by this court, yes.
exactly. Just make it clarification. Okay, well then we can proceed on to our next department, which is Public Works. Again, keeping ahead of schedule, we're doing good here. And will those be the last ones today, Tyner?
We're gonna have Edward by then.
It's going to join virtually, Edward will.
Okay, and so he knows we're a little bit ahead. Okay, great. Okay, so just give us a second to move the, which page number will we start with here?
Department 1450, Judge.
Okay, and Lisa, would you be so kind as to tell me which tab that is?
1450 is going to be, it's all gonna be in tab 11.
Got
and
it.
it's gonna be
Page 138.
138.
Okay, 138. Okay. Okay,
Judge and Commissioners, under 1450, the only one item that we're requesting is a $200 general tools that we need for purchasing, just for tools that we need out there at this facility. That's the only addition that we're asking for this one item. Is that correct now?
Yeah, tools and small equipment repairs. An additional $300.
200?
300.
$300.
so no capital outlay there at all.
No, ma'am. And then the other
You
one.
guys had a chance to visit with the Judge Rubio out there, just to make sure? I would imagine that she might have some thoughts, just in case, just as a, give her a call, that's all I'm saying. Just
Yes,
give her a
ma'am.
ring and
Well,
show
well-
this to her and give her a chance to put some input in. Okay, thank you.
It's under Bill Bodie. We'll meet with their judge. I know Rocky's out there quite, a lot
Yeah.
of times, so
Whatever they're requesting all day.
we'll make sure we add it.
Okay. And where to next?
Under,
Under 1490, the CCD.
1490.
Page 156.
Okay.
Actually, it's not really, we didn't really ask for changes for this one. It's just that for contractual
The lease agreement.
increases, I think the auditors, put it in. Right, Lisa?
Okay, and I'm sorry, guys,
I'm
which,
sorry, the contractual increases, is that you that added that? Because we didn't put any changes at all.
That's copier that
Just
put in the balances and well as the postage, when you do an allocation based on our postage allocation. These are
Ah,
required information that we need to put in as required by the contract we have.
Okay.
okay, got it. So there's
So-
really nothing here to.
Nothing, yes.
Nothing to look at here.
And then we go to 1500.
Page
This
162,
is mechanical maintenance.
Page 152,
162.
162. Okay,
Okay, Judge, we asked for 5,000 additional for the after-hours emergency repairs calls for our people, when they go
Okay.
overtime.
got it.
And then for the tools, we're also asking 1,500 for tools and small equipment repairs.
Okay.
And then the renewal for the TMA system and support for the work orders, machine, equipment, 1,500, and that's it.
Okay. Okay, great.
Then we go to the Bishop Building, 1520.
Page 174.
Okay,
There we are asking Judge, a commercial push mower for the grounds upkeep, keeping for the grounds, 1,200. And that's it. That's just change.
1,200 would normally be a capital outlay. We'll make sure it's properly accounted for in the right
right, we'll just
category.
move it down.
Yes.
Okay. Do you understand? He's just gonna take operating 1,200 and move it to capital outlay since it's a piece of equipment.
Oh.
It's not gonna change your number, he's just gonna change the location of it,
Oh, okay.
okay, to capital outlay.
And then we go to Calderon Building.
Page 160,
We-
186.
Okay,
We're also asking Judge, a commercial mower
yeah,
for, a riding mower, actually.
Yeah.
This is 6,200.
and just so that we can all know, so all this equipment, I imagine it's all inventoried on some sort of a spreadsheet and
Yes.
it's got all the, and then all of this equipment is kept, in your maintenance building?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
Yes, ma'am. What we do is we put
Yeah.
a serial number on there.
That's what I'm gonna say,
all
some
those
sort of
serial
a
numbers,
ID.
And then we make sure that we keep it.
Got it. Okay, awesome.
I have a question on that page, Judge Juan. Since we're talking about Johnny Calderon, I remember when Deepak was here, there was a lot of issues with the AC out there and the chiller. Is that all taken care of, or do we have any additional costs for that, or do we expect any future costs for the next fiscal year?
Commissioner, that I know of on the AC equipment, I know that from our maintenance building budget, we have taken care of some of those items. So we have been either removing or replacing some of those items that were needed.
And is that going to be here on this item? It will,
No,
No.
sir, no, sir.
no, okay.
But we have been taking care of those.
You have any-
We have a special repairs and maintenance on Department 1570 where it covers the entire county.
1570, got you.
And when we
Okay.
get that, he'll go over that.
Okay, 1570, okay. Perfect, thank you.
And then we go to the Medical Examiner Building, the 1565.
Page 204.
Give me just 1 second, I'm writing stuff down. Back to Commissioner Modis's question on Calderon. Could somebody, and I think it's on my desk, if Maggie, you're listening, just grab the capital improvement plan to see if there's anything we would want to tackle this year on Johnny Calderon, just to see if it Was there anything on there that we would want? I know, for example, the roof just got, addressed, but there's gotta be stuff there. I'll tell you right now, infrastructure, technology, IT, we need improvements there. I'm just saying, just for the budget purposes, it might get funded through, we've got different funding sources too, but I know that was an issue. I just don't have my list handy. All I'm saying is, let's star that one and we'll get back to you. Let us go back and look. But whatever we need, let's at least acknowledge it. Let's see where it gets funded. But I think there's gonna be dollars for IT there. The big room in particular, and just technology, because it's, so many people meet there, and it's just so outdated. That was one thing. Do you remember that, Commissioner?
Yeah, that was one of the things I know we looked at when we were having IRT come in. And really, the discussion fell more with Jason, with his group
Jason.
out there. And it
Ott,
just kind of,
yeah.
Jason Ott. And so the conversation fell off. But I mean, that's where we were using a lot of our meetings preparing for this IRT this year. And I know that there'll be services worked out of that building. And so that would help if, obviously we can't do it now, but at least prepare as
Yeah.
we hope to have IRT at least for the next year or
Couple
two.
years.
Right.
And just all of a sudden, I'm remembering it was so cheap to do it. I think we went ahead and helped Jason get it done
I think we did.
for this year.
We got some,
Okay? But sometimes they ask for so little that we fixed it, but I'm not sure what the bigger overall, in other words, that was just that one room.
Yeah.
So I'm just saying, maybe we'll put that as let's get back to it, and take a real hard look at what's needed there. And then
I don't think we got the Wi-Fi, but I know that was an
Yeah.
issue, and I think it was maybe just an overhead that they were asking for, that, I think that was part of it, Judge, that was included,
I
so.
feel like, and
But-
we'll, again, today is step one.
Yeah.
There's gonna be other days to come back, but I just wanna make you aware that if you told me right now, there's nothing, zero needed there, I'd say, there's no way. Because that building needs a lot of help, it's very old, there's a lot of needs out there. We appreciate, of course, you suppressing, you know what I'm saying, keeping everything as low as you can go. But we gotta acknowledge there's some things that need to be flagged and that most likely we could do, like this was just one little example. And that came through the ag. They asked us through their ag, request, so. Just food for thought there on Calderon, just because I know it needs some love.
Okay.
We'll get back to you. I've got to look through here. There's pretty much a whole page dedicated to what's needed. Okay, keep going, guys. Now we're on page,
The medical examiner.
medical, and that was page,
204?
got it. Okay, go ahead.
This judge was just asking $300 for the additional for tools and small equipment repairs.
Okay, so we were still waiting there on security cameras. Do you know if that got taken care of budget from this past year?
Yes, we did, but then they kind of like put it on hold.
We got a request to put it on hold, Judge. We did put
From
some.
from the medical examiner's office?
Yes, ma'am. Yes,
Okay, wonder why.
I'm not sure.
They didn't really say, they
Yeah.
just say that we'll just update,
Will you call them back and say, they literally made a pretty big deal about getting them?
Right.
Let's call them back. Again, I mean, there's a fine line between trying to help us and just punting to another year. It doesn't do us any good. It's only more expensive next year. Let's just see if this, because that's something also we could tackle, and would security cameras qualify for capital outlay?
Yes.
Yeah. I thought it was like actually needed for law enforcement. Does anybody remember? It was high priority. Let's just get it back on there. I'm making a mental note here.
It was high priority, Judge and Commissioners, but we did get a request, Bobby got the request and
Yeah, I'm not,
to go ahead and just put it on hold.
right, no, I'm not blaming you. I just want to know what's changed, because I think we need them for law enforcement. That was the issue. That way they could have recordings and have the ability to, if a lot, right, guys? Wasn't that the theory of the case?
Correct.
Yeah, they do.
And they do have right now some video surveillance.
Yeah.
For the exterior, but I think what they're requesting was video surveillance
Inside.
for interior.
Yeah, let's go back to it. I'm just flagging it. Okay, but other than that, it looks like $300 for, the other thing, as long as you're talking to them, I think that was it. I was trying to remember. We fixed all the potholes in the parking lot and all that. I think we're good to go there. Okay, sounds good. All right. Which next? where do we go next?
The building superintendent, the 1570.
Page 210.
210, okay. Okay,
On this one, Judge and Commissioners, we're requesting for the construction engineer to go from a pay group 38 to pay group 40.
okay.
We are requesting 2 additional mechanical maintenance 3 techs. We are requesting 4 maintenance groundskeepers, sorry. And that's for the exterior of the building. We are requesting an additional HVAC mechanical maintenance personnel. We do have 1 right now in staff, and that has been working out great. We've minimized some of the call-outs to some of these subcontractors, or say sub, but to some of these contractors to come out and take care of some of our units during when they're down. And the HVAC person has worked great, and due to the amount of buildings that we do maintenance on, we do recommend another one to be able to have here in our in-house.
And that was also something we brought last time. We said,
Yes,
hey,
yes,
we
ma'am.
know we want 2, but we're gonna start with 1.
Yes, ma'am, and it's, yes, ma'am, and judges and commissioners, just to let you know, it has saved us some monies, because, and also some, bringing people or contractors at night, or, you know, at least we have this one person that can come in, and if we had another additional person, it would help out greatly.
Do you happen to have any information that we could look at where you said, hey, 2 years ago, we spent X on getting contractors to come in, and this year, we spent Y?
We can do that, Judge.
That would be helpful
Yes,
when we
ma'am.
get back together again, when the court gets back together again. So if I'm hearing you correctly, I've got in my notes a reclass from 38 to 40, and then 2 groundskeepers and 1 HVAC. Did I miss something?
2 mechanical maintenance 3,
Oh, 2 mechanical maintenance.
yes, ma'am.
I forgot that one.
And
Mechanical.
four maintenance groundskeepers
Oh,
additional.
4, shoot, okay.
And then 1 HVAC mechanical
Yeah.
maintenance, and then 2 mechanical maintenance 2.
17, Judge?
Okay, I gotta move to that, okay?
And then there's an additional piece of equipment for the grounds to be able to keep up with some of the leaf outside, some of the stuff that falls off the trees. We're requesting a leaf blower. We're requesting some monies for the old courthouse judge, for some lighting, for some security lighting, and also some additional security fencing, and also to go in there and clean out a little bit of the interior of the building. And then we do have some monies in there for some equipment rental that we need.
Okay, so if I look at page 217, that's 394 total? And
Yes.
then if I do all the other equipment, where would I look on that?
Okay, the other equipment's back on page 210.
Okay, I'm here now.
Equipment is the 2000 commercial lawn vacuum,
Got it?
and that's gonna have to get moved to the capital outlay.
Okay.
If you include everything, it's 265.
That's what I wondered. Thank you. That's the total.
Yes.
So 265 plus the
394 is.
394.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay, so 265 plus 394, okay.
$650 around there.
So for personnel, that will be 9 new employees and 1 reclass.
Got it. And, and really, the big expense is just it's expensive. Fencing's expensive, lighting's expensive.
Yes, ma'am.
And, it's just expensive.
Yes, ma'am.
I will say that, having a buildings crew that's dedicated to the building, you know, for the first time in a long time, when all the palms froze and then we just had them all cleaned, and you see the beautiful Fallen Heroes Memorial, you really recognize that our grounds are like a park in and of itself. And it's huge. If you've really like ever walked all the way around, and right now, because of the restoration, all of the second floor is off limits, right? But it'll be on limits very, very soon, again, next year. And there's just so much, so many square footage to take care of. I think that creating our own grounds crew, rather than, forgive me, but borrowing from everybody, just, it's never helpful to do it hodgepodge. And I think we kind of beg, borrow, and steal personnel every time there's sort of a need, rather than keeping up with the solid maintenance of our grounds, right? And they really are beautiful. We're basically gonna get a new building with this restoration. And, so I think it's an interesting concept that will be taken under consideration to really have a crew that would be, as I understand it, dedicated to this building plus other buildings, so that they can all feel special, not just this one. Is that correct? That they would be, you know, like, I'm gonna think of another one here in just a second, but, really Calderon's a good example too. There's just there's a lot to be desired in the way we take care of our grounds, or the groundskeeping. And it would be really nice to see, I think the employees would get a lot of it, but I think the public benefits the most to see that we take care of our properties, right? Because we ask them in code enforcement to take care of their stuff. Every once in a while, I'd like to slap a ticket on ourselves, you know? But it's because we haven't had the personnel to do that.
Right, and I would say, Judge, after having been here since 2008, you know, we witnessed the shrinking of the buildings department over time.
Yeah.
And so that's why we are where we are
Right.
today. And I think this would go a long ways towards restoring the capabilities of them to be responsive to all the departments, because
Yeah.
we're constantly on Juan and Bobby, you know, what's happening with this, what's happening with that? And if they had a few heads.
Well, running this building is a full-time job. And that's why I think, what, let me see, it's called 1570, right? Yeah, 1570 is it's full-time, it's got its own animal, from the mechanical equipment to the grass, right? And to the flags, to the Fallen Heroes Memorial. I submit that it's like running a state park, right? Because if you think about it, just the memorial in and of itself has to really be kept up to certain standards if you're gonna honor fallen heroes. And I think that, it's just very, I'm not saying that that's possible, I'm just letting you know how I feel about it, and how I think that if you're gonna make the investment to have these memorials and to create the landscaping, I mean, what's the use if you're not gonna groundskeep, right? And then you might also wanna also pull tickets, because when we hire contractors, there's a cost to that too. So maybe you might wanna say what we've already been spending versus what this would cost, and show the court a comparison the next time we see you. That might be something interesting to look at.
Right, and the other thing, when you have your own staff versus outside staff, you have much greater control over how quickly to respond to situations. It just.
Well, and like you said, the ongoing, you know, I don't even want to invest in a plant until I know someone can water that plant and trim it and take care of it, right? So I think that that's really interesting. And then, of course, the HVAC is self-explanatory. Can you tell us about the two maintenance, actually it's 4, can you tell us about the need and the justification for the 2 maintenance in one class and the 2 maintenance in the other?
You're talking about the 2 mechanical maintenance,
Yes.
2, Judge?
Yes.
On those, there would be, one would be here for the courthouse, I'm sorry, for the jail and the courthouse, and then the other one would be for the McKenzie Annex.
Okay, so out of the 2, one would go annex and one would stay here?
Yes, ma'am.
And what about the other?
On those, Judge, those mechanical maintenance 3 would stay here on site, for the jail and the annex. There would be more of a, kind of like we do a road and bridge, there would be the assistant foremans. So in other words, there would be the ones running the crews, making sure that, work orders are being completed. Also assist Aaron Rios, since he's kind of like the main foreman for the buildings facility. They would be assisting him, making sure that things are being tracked down, and at the same time, perform some of the work.
Okay, all right.
Excuse me, one.
Yes, sir.
With those maintenance workers, would they also be utilized inside the building, like if they were asked to move furniture?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, that's correct. And also, yes, sir, and then also the additional maintenance groundkeepers would also be able to assist with, doing whatever needs to be done within the building facilities.
I agree with you. That's why we used to do it when I used to work here.
Yes, sir.
And again, I commend you for trying to keep up with the building. What have we done with the Fallen Heroes area?
The Fallen Heroes, Commissioner, within the past year, we've gone out there, we've done some landscaping, we've done some painting out there, pressure washing, fixed some of the concrete sidewalks that were unlevel. We had a contractor level them, so that way there's no tripping hazards. And also, just kind of enhance it by putting some new landscaping out there. And
Have we gotten it done yet?
Sir?
The new landscaping that we were
Yes, sir.
looking at?
Yes, sir.
It's been done?
It's been completed.
Oh,
yes, sir.
good one. Thank you very
Yes,
much.
sir. We've put in irrigation also. The irrigation out there was kind of non-functional. So we do have new irrigation out there that's, like, as you can see, it's nice and green, so, yeah, so it's helped out.
Thank you, Juan. Thank you to you and your crew, and y'all doing a great job.
All right, thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, what else do y'all have?
The Department 1600, Judge.
Okay.
The prison 3-yard buildings.
Give us a second to flip if y'all have a.
224. 224.
Okay,
Okay, we're just asking for 1,500 for the tools and small equipment repairs.
okay. Any questions on that, anybody? Okay, our next one?
And then Mackenzie on it is the last one.
Let me do that one.
Department
Page
1740.
230.
Want me to do that one?
Yeah.
On
because of the
1740, Judge and Commissioners, that's for for Mackenzie, we're requesting some small equipment and tools that we need out there. And then, we're also proposing or recommending, a foreman, to be, upgraded to a building facility superintendent for the outlying buildings. In other words, since we have, 16 buildings outlying? We're recommending that the foreman become a building facility superintendent. In other words, he'll be equal to Bobby, to where he's managing all these buildings and making sure that these buildings are kept up with, Judge, and make sure that, just oversee and make sure that they're being upkept and provide us reports of what needs to be done.
But is that in this particular budget?
Yes, ma'am.
1740?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
You see that on page 236.
Yeah, I'm on the wrong one. I'm still back on, there's not much, just the tools on 230 and 231. Okay, let me get to 236. Okay. So it's a swap, if you will.
Yes, ma'am. It's just going from a foreman to a building facility superintendent for the outlying buildings.
Okay, does anybody have any questions on any of the,
I think we have one more, or the 1305, I don't know if that one's, the sheriff department's gonna present that one, Judge, or?
I think,
We
I think you
present that
guys,
one?
right?
Yes,
Yeah, I
and
think-
it is on day 4. I'm gonna have to get back there. Or day 3, excuse me. It's page.
After the sheriff.
It's page 635.
No, correct.
And that is day 3, tab 8. It's the first tab before the sheriff.
Okay. And we'll also get Sheriff to go over it, but since y'all are here, you all can start.
Yeah, on this one, Judge and Commissioners, they're requesting additional four officers for that department.
Got it. So it's plus 137, Dale?
What's that, ma'am?
It's a positive 137,000 increase.
The sheriff's office is asking for some additional staff for the contract we have with SecOp, and they're asking for additional items. I'm kind of working with the sheriff and trying to transpose the operations of this department to the sheriff. And we're making arrangements with Juan. He currently has a employee in this particular department. We're considering working with him on maybe moving this to 1570. And the badging coordinator we created last year in Department 3700, moving that to 1305.
So you're working
Yeah,
on.
we're working on
all
those.
this is a moving target.
So it might change a little bit, but we believe that the sheriff would be more on the courthouse security side.
And of course, it's all in an effort to actually have courthouse security.
Correct.
It's not like we're inventing it, it's needed in order to maintain the security on both sides of the courthouse, floor 1.
Yes, I agree, yes.
Okay, gotcha, all right. What else can these guys answer for you guys?
Did Dale talk about that one? The moving the,
Yes.
He did.
the reclassification of the secretary? Okay.
Yes, thank you. He
Yes.
says he's gonna bring it back to us. He's
Okay.
working with the
You hear,
sheriff.
can you hear me?
Okay.
Yes, we can, actually. Go
Oh,
ahead.
there you go. Thank you. And I was trying to keep up, Judge. I'm sorry. You said day 3, tab 8
Yes, correct.
as we want to, but I missed why we were jumping to this.
It comes under,
Right now, this department is basically operating by several divisions. The employee that's under 1305 is under Juan in its control. We believe that the courthouse security side of it should be the sheriff, even though Juan may control it, and the Commissioners Court Administration, it used to be the one that works the budget up. But I know the sheriff is the one that's proposing the increase of the staff for SecOp. So we believe this would be a better function under the sheriff, and we'll be bringing that and making sure we give everybody the right ways of what we're moving and how.
right, the reason we jumped to it, Commissioner, is because he had to prepare it. And so since they prepared it, they're here.
Juan
But
did- oh, okay.
Right,
I
they
gotcha.
prepared it,
I
but
gotcha.
we're gonna get it straightened out. This
Yes.
one needs to be brought back, okay?
I'm sure the
Okay,
sheriff
that's
will be
what I couldn't hear.
discussing
Thank you very much.
Absolutely, and just for your notes, it's on page 635.
this. That is correct.
Yes, ma'am. Got it.
Okay, great. Well then, if there are no other questions at this time,
Now, on that one, on 635, if you look at page 630, 653, that's the one that they're talking about. They have no, sorry, wrong one. Let me go back one. 641. They have a current secretary in Department 1305. I believe that's the one y'all want to talk about reclassifying.
Yes.
Requesting a reclassification of this, and this will be the one we might move to Department
right, but it's
1570,
very
but
minimal, right? It's,
Yes, we're just reclassifying the secretary to a secretary 2,
It's
and
$800.
then they're
Right, I
contemplating
remember
and moving
seeing
that
it.
position to 1570, the building superintendent building.
Yes.
Got it.
Department.
But for now, the position's in 1305, and that's where they made the suggestion, and that's why we're showing it here.
Got it. I'm with you. Okay. All right. Any other questions? Okay, and then, let's think here. Is this mine?
1770, I believe, would be Edward, and he's the one who covers the senior community services buildings.
So we're good? Yes. We're good?
Okay.
He's
We
on.
did.
Edward's
We
on.
did.
He's on.
We did. He's on the line, actually. I'm just
Judge.
kind of going over.
Judge and Commissioners, thank y'all. Appreciate it.
Yeah, and what we'll do is we'll bring you guys back when we're really looking at, some of the capital improvement stuff, just to make sure you won't need any resources for that. I would have to go over them. For example, let me give you, I don't know, I'm looking at everything, just on capital, for this building. I just want to make sure that we're not missing anything. What we'll do is do a thorough look over. In other words, we prioritize so many projects for the 50 million. I just want to go over them with you to make sure you don't need anything in order to facilitate those projects. Okay, we can do that at a later time. Okay, thank you. All right, so Edward is on the line, and Edward, go ahead.
Good afternoon, Judge, Commissioners. Can y'all help me, hear
Yes,
me?
we got you.
So I'm over here at the fairgrounds, and it's a wonderful fairgrounds, I might add. Working with the military, as you well know, so I wish I could be there with you. Hopefully, I'll be there with you Friday. I'm going to start off with our buildings. 1590 is the building over there at Hilltop Community Center.
Okay, and hang on one
And
second, we're gonna
essentially
get a
what-
page number. A 1590 Hilltop coordinates to,
That's page 237.
okay, hang on.
Day 1-12, tab 12.
Got it. Okay, Edward, go ahead, we're good now? We're ready.
Oh, because he's via Zoom, since I switched screens, we can't hear him. Let me switch him back.
Yeah, Connie, I think that they can follow along in
They got the books.
in their book, and so this way we can hear the audio.
Got
So
it.
we're looking at replacing air conditioners in the wing. And then again, this may be already taken care of when we put in a new building, but just in case we can do that, new building was gonna between 7 million to 15 million, depending on what we were gonna do to it. But if we had the option, and this was just a replacement, we would be replacing 4 units that are throughout the building. We'd like to install some heating and cooling. We currently have window units in our E-wing. And then we'd like to install playground equipment that's needed to be replaced and also additional specific or age-appropriate areas. We'd also like to include a electrical marquee, include drip irrigation, replace and install some new cameras into the building. And our biggest thing is to fix and maintain the current parking lots / walk trails throughout the park. The issue with that is the walk trails are non-ADA compliant, and a lot of it has to do with the cross ropes. The way that it was built was back in the day, so to speak, so that you had a meandering walkway where you change grades at a certain point and makes it interesting for the walkers. But we've come to find that that's not ADA acceptable. So we'd like to come back and not only repave everything, but make it also ADA compliant. Some of the other things that we'd like to do is replace some of the existing equipment, such as folding chairs, tables, carts, that kind of stuff. Install, since we have a nice security front end door, maybe a buzz system to where You'd have to be buzzed in to allow you into the, some of the work areas, which, you know, would be an additional or added part of it. And we'd also like to go back, along with our trails, replace all our boarded structures. So we have numerous bridges and walkways throughout the facility that are made of wood. And so they've hit their pretty much lifespan, and so we'd like to come back through and replace them. Those are the main things in 1590.
Okay.
Now, if we move on to 1760, which is our budget, that's the one in our Robstown Community Center. And the biggest thing we had in that area, Judge, with Teresa on it, is roof replacement at about $100K. So it's more than 20 years old and needs to be replaced. We put in some patching that hopefully is going to help out and last. So that's the biggest thing we're asking for there. In 1770, which is our senior community service, Banquete and Driscoll
Page 253, Judge.
Okay.
and Bishop, we're looking to re-roof the banquet, and that's about a $50,000 hiccup there where it's an older, again, done. That's our biggest issue there. And our last building, which is the community center there in Berlanga, pretty much set there. I wish we could, I don't know if Commissioner Mice has kept you informed about the flooding we had through the community. The building is okay, older building, but we're all right with that.
Is it just me or is he going in and out?
He's going in.
It is, it did break up
Okay.
a couple of times.
Okay, I got the most of it. I just didn't know if it was my connection or his. All right, thank you.
So,
Yeah, we've lost.
Hold on, Edward, we're trying to get you back on a better connection. Can you talk to us again so we can see if we got you?
He's trying, we're not getting
Trying.
anything.
How about that broadband access request for out there?
Okay, that's one way to shorten a presentation. Good job, Edward.
Judge, let me go ahead.
I appreciate.
Okay,
Yeah,
he's trying.
Commissioner
That's what I
Modis
was
is,
trying to do.
Yeah, there's some dead spots out there. Usually if you try to get in an open area, it's a little bit better than in the building
go ahead,
sometimes.
Commissioner.
So, Judge, I just kind of wanted to comment, and I'm sure Commissioner Hernandez will, on Hilltop, but for the Community Service Center in Robstown, when we had that great event, I know you were out of town, but when we had that great event for Judge Joaquin, you know, we had a lot of people there, close to 100 people there. And afterwards, I was meeting with the site manager there, Ms. Santos, and she had a big plastic trash can with a constant drip in there, right almost dead center in her office. And that's only part of the problem out there. And so we talk wants or needs. This is definitely a need that's unacceptable, especially, I mean, she could live around it and she had a good attitude about it. But as we, look to normalize things and open up the facility, once we get our seniors back, we really do need to fix the roofing there. And as well, I'm glad that Edward included Banquete, because that was not just something that was worth him getting his crew out there just to fix. They could have done that. But I took a lot of photos that I sent him, actually, last year. It was right around November of 2020. And I sent him some photos. And there's some, looks like almost straight line wind damage that we may have gotten from Harvey or something. But also the roof, and there's some facade stuff outside on the north side of the building. But those are two areas that are big, in need of, actual improvements to the roof. So I hope that we consider that once we
Yeah.
move forward.
Agreed. Edward, we left off with you on Department 1770. Do you want us to move on somewhere else? Maybe to the David Bedlanga? Well, it
Correct,
looks,
Judge, can you hear me?
yes, we got you.
Can you hear me?
Yes, yes.
So with the David Berlanga building, like I was saying, we ran through the flood issue. This time we dodged the bullet out there, even though they did flood. We aren't looking for any specific things unless we can build a pond out there, right, Commissioner?
Definitely.
And then our last budget, which is that 1780, then other than that, we're good with that.
Can you tell me, just because I'm taking notes on everything, can you tell me a little bit more about the pond?
Well, as Commissioner knows, the water comes in from the northwest. It comes in from Jim Wells County, and as I've always said, that the rain here in Nueces County is important, but not as important as what rains in Jim Wells. It flows from the northwest into the corner of 105 and Highway 44 and starts holding there. So as soon as it starts holding there, it starts coming across the road and starts flooding the community from the west to the east. TxDOT back about 10, 15 years sunk the road as part of their improvements, and that's by design. So the outer sections of the road flood first as they flood to the center. So that gives you one lane that you can travel east-west, or in this case, east-west, so that you can go to Alice or go to Banquetti through that area. Well, in this scenario, the problem was that the outflow was never completed. The county was given some monies so that we could buy some easement from a farmer who happens to not want to do that. And so the water just holds there and starts stacking back until it slowly goes out. But as Commissioner Matas knows, this water eventually ends up into Driscoll and into Lost Creek area. So it starts flooding back there this whole weekend. If you go down 2826 or County Road 38, which has bridges going across the creek, they were completely flooded for about a mile in each direction. Well, half a mile in each direction. So that's slowly flowing through into the Baffin Bay area. So if we could build a pond, that would be great right there in that corner of Nueces County. That would help solve Driscoll's problem as well as the County Road 75 and 18, which is Fiesta Ranch's problem out there, or help solve it.
Yeah, and I think that's an ARPA funded issue. I mean, I think we can fund that through ARPA. Whether we choose to is a different story, but do you think you could work a contingency budget on that? Just so that we could have that as in our little portfolio here of wishes that could be granted. That one is truly a water infrastructure. And that looks to me, I mean, as I've read the Treasury guidelines, to be right in lockstep with what's permissive. We just had that conversation last week about what does it mean to be really water infrastructure and whether or not that includes retention ponds and drainage and anyway, I think it's worth it. I think it's worth it to get the budget put together.
I'm gonna base the estimate on a 100-acre pond, Judge.
Okay, that's fine. Just whenever you can get it to us, but I'd make it separate. It's not part of the budget. It's just part of a side request.
Not a problem.
Okay, that's 17. You've done there 1780 now. What else do we have?
That's it for today, unless you want me to continue on with the other budgets, but I think tomorrow I'm on at 1:30 and then I think Friday.
That's what I was gonna say. We're gonna see you back.
He has a personnel
Yeah.
request for Hilltop. Yes. He has a personnel.
Okay, you wanna talk about the personnel request for Hilltop right now?
So we currently have one part-time position. Remember, the facility runs from Saturday, we're off Sunday, then Monday through Friday. And it runs from 7:30 in the morning to 9 o'clock at night. We have over 80,000 visitors that are within the facility. that come in not just to walk the trails, but to also partake in the different meetings, since it's open pretty much to everybody. So just for example, we have maybe like 18 Girl Scout groups from different ages and about 19 Boy Scout groups, again, different ages, and then a multitude of different community groups that meet there. So what we're proposing is to take that part-time position, do away with it, and try to come up with another permanent position so that we can help support all that time that we're open. The facility also has the WIC program, as well as some other much-needed programs in the area that come out, and they'll teach you pretty much not just jazzercising or rumba or anything like that, but how to educate yourself. We also have the juvenile probation within the building. So it's a multi-use facility that's well used. So that's what the proposal is for that position.
Got it.
So Edward, is that a personal jazzercise thing for you there, big guy, or what's going on? Can you share that with me a little bit? I need some of that.
You need Zumba in your life?
Now that COVID's gone, and now that COVID's going away, I've got some COVID pounds I need to lose as well, Commissioner.
Oh, no, I wasn't suggesting that at all. I was saying for me, I needed that. That's for me.
Hey, Edward, this is Commissioner Hernandez. I wasn't here
Yes, sir.
when you first started. Did you touch bases on Hilltop yet?
Yes.
Yes, sir.
Could you?
Yeah, but we included not only the parking lot and areas there, but all our walking trails that need to be ADA compliant, made ADA compliant, as well as all our walking bridges and all our wooden structures throughout the facility.
Okay.
The total is 2.1 million.
Okay, Edward, thank you.
Okay, all right, thanks, Edward. We'll see you later this week.
Thank you.
Okay, if that concludes Edward, we are actually complete for the day. And we will gather again tomorrow. And we're at 10 a.m. tomorrow. And the only thing, it's a request I just sent on email, but I'd like to, in fairness, tell you when I know. And that is that Chief Kidd has confirmed that he will be here at 1 o'clock on Thursday. And so I'm going to ask your indulgence so that I can attend that. Maybe we could do a late lunch on Thursday and maybe switch our lunch so that I can go over there. And I would really appreciate that. I need to be there. And I would ask your indulgence for that to see if that is possible. We could do a little switcheroo there. Okay? Eat a late breakfast and then we'll have a late lunch. Okay, just maybe do some rearranging. Okay, I'll see everybody tomorrow morning. Thanks.